All right. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We are here with a special free agency frenzy, week one. My name is Joe, as always, or the offseason is my jam. This is the nosebleed section, the offseason edition. I'm joined by my regular two colleagues, Jay and Benji. What's going on?
Well,
And I'm joined by special guests. I'm trying to make him a regular on the channel more. Hit Squad Productions, aka Chris. What's going on, Chris?
What's good, man? I appreciate y'all having me on. Thank you.
Always. So you're always welcome, man. So yeah, like I said, first week of free agency is in the books. We into the tampering period, we into the official free agency, all that crap. The frenzy was crazy. Um, I know we've all been going back and forth. Me and you, Chris, we talk all the time on Twitter.
hmm
Benji J, we're always up in the WhatsApp group, just spamming the group with a whole bunch of different signings left, right, and center. So I mean, we're gonna look into some of the major signings that happened this week. And like I said, it's only week one. There's so many free agents still out there. So many people that could be quality additions to your squad that could help you out in the immediate future. So I mean, just to start it off, when you look at that first name, you look at Derek Carr. Derek Carr to the Saints. Not where I thought he would go. Um, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna put it like that. Like I'm gonna put
yeah,
it like that. I didn't think he was gonna go to the Saints, but an interesting move for sure. I mean, he's got weapons. That's the one thing I can say. You got Olave, you got Kamara. They signed Jamal Williams, so he's got some weapons on offense. If Kamara's good, if Kamara's good, so he's got some weapons, and they're going to probably keep adding. They got Olave, you got Michael Williams and Michael Thomas. They're going to try to draft somebody else because it's the Saints, and they always add somebody.
mhm.
But to me, it's just like, is Derek Carr really the guy that's going to take you to the next level if you're the Saints? Because I mean, the guy had weapons in Vegas. He had his best friend Devontae. He had Derek. He had Hunter. He had Waller. He had Foster Moreau. You had Josh Jacobs. Like, so you had weapons in Vegas. So
but did
are
he
you
though?
really?
But did he though? I mean,
Yes,
that
yes.
health bug was a nasty son of a gun in Vegas. I that's all I'm saying. How often did he actually have his full repertoire? Like, did he have all the clips in the chamber? Like, eh, you know,
Also, I mean, you got to think about it too. I mean, while the Raiders have been kind of in turmoil the last couple of years, he's handled it well. Excuse me. He's been a leader, um, and I mean, I think he's everything you want in a quarterback in terms of a leadership standpoint. What he brings to the game, the knowledge he has. Um, I think he's about an average quarterback. I mean, it's a good move for the Saints, who seem to find money somehow year in and year
Always,
out.
bro.
Um,
Always.
I mean, you got to give a lot of credit to them because they somehow do it. I don't know how, but they somehow do it. So
I'm
they got
convinced they have a
they
blood
got their
pact
guy.
with body. They have a blood pact with Satan, or like,
They have to.
Here
They
you
have
go.
to.
Starting
They
already.
something, man. I mean, I don't get it, but I respect it. And hey, I think honestly, with how weak that division is right now, I mean, the Saints they got themselves a good enough quarterback that should at least have them win the division. If not, I mean, you want to talk about a failure, man. I mean,
they, they should
I
walk
mean,
into the playoffs. Like,
yeah, they should have no
they
problems.
should skip. This should be
yeah,
Dorothy going down down the yellow brick road towards the playoffs for Carr. Like, you have to absolutely be dreadful to not make the playoffs as the Saints right now.
I agree.
I mean, we were just talking about before we hopped online. Where you guys were talking about like if you're the Bucks, you just went out and like you said, you went from Tom Brady and everybody was like, oh, maybe Kyle Trask gets even his opportunity, and then you go and sign Baker Mayfield, and you were saying Jay that like, do you even really want to be good this year with like the potential talent of like a Caleb Williams or even like a Drake May or somebody coming out next year? Do you really even want to be good right now? Like, so I mean, I don't know. Like, it's that's the question you got to ask yourself. And I mean, we also just said the Panthers, as of us starting this, just signed Adam Thielen to a 3-year deal.
hmm
So I mean, so regardless of who's throwing over there, I guess he'll at least have one weapon. I don't know what they're playing at quarterback either. And then you look at the Falcons, and the Falcons actually there was a rumor Actually, it was going around Twitter. There was rumor about them. I don't know. They were interested in Lamar for a second, but but that's not going to happen. I'm more than sure.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
No,
Nah. And I want to say they brought somebody else in.
they
Did they
did.
bring somebody else in?
I don't remember who it was though.
They brought somebody
Taylor
else.
Heineke.
There you go.
Taylor Heineke.
They
Yeah,
brought
that guy's a
Heineke.
legend in Washington.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We're set to Washington and Mariota to the Eagles.
Oh yeah, I read about that. Mario was supposed to be like a big thing that they were really hyped that they could get Mariota.
I mean, he
I know
fits
they
the
like-
system.
Yeah,
I think it's
they were
from a
talking.
package standpoint. You got to think about it from like the possible packages where you can now have a situation where you don't have to completely ride Jalen Hurts for every big run or every quarterback sneak or all that stuff. Now you have another body that can do those things and still, hit you with a play action every now and again.
Yep.
So you don't necessarily have to change your style of play that much.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's smart. It's insurance.
No, definitely. It definitely is insurance. Quality insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, let's see. Oh, excuse me. When you look at the list, I mean, you got a lot of people up here. You got Mike McGlinchey went to Denver on a 5-year, $87.5 million deal, which to me,
That one don't make sense. That
No,
one that made no sense to me at all. Like, bro, what? One, where is Denver getting this money from?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, they got owner and all
y'all
the
was
football. So I mean,
Like, nah, they so broke. They more broke than a baby daddy that owes 17 baby mama's child support. They broke. Like,
this man is a fool.
broke, bro. Russell cleaning them pockets. Like, where y'all get this bread from? Hold on, bro.
Yo, and on top of that, people were like, when it happened and the news broke, and everybody, but like Niners fans were rejoicing because they were like, bro, that dude was trash. They were like, yo, who was a straight turnstile? It's like, it sounds nice because of the running and everything they did, but like, so bro, you pay $87.5 million. They were like, yo, he's like Nate Solder 2.0.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's what they're like. He's gonna be what Nate Solder was to the Giants. Like, so they're like, yeah, like Denver fans were going crazy, and then like Niners fans were going crazy, and they're looking at them like, why are y'all happy? We just got your tackle, and they're like, bro, take him, take him. We'll go straight. I mean, and with the draft that's out this year, you can get a right tackle and start him day one, and probably be better off.
I mean, I think with the amount of comp picks alone, they can move up.
Yo, they got three third rounders.
Picks. Like,
they had a lot of comp picks this year.
Yeah,
A lot.
the Niners got 3 comp picks. Like, they got 3 third rounders back to back to back. What is that?
yeah, nah, bro. Like they can move up and get one of the tackles. Because I know the tackles are gonna drop, especially the second and third tier tackles.
Mm-hmm.
They can go and get a guy.
Oh, definitely. They can save you 87 mil. Shoot.
Man, listen.
What the heck? Tell you what, I know you're happy about that. I know seeing that Javon Hargrave leave.
Oh yeah. I mean, but honestly, if I'm San Francisco, man, I mean that is such a good value signing for them, man. I mean, 2-8 on already stacked defense. I mean,
Ridiculous.
yeah, it hurts Philly. I mean, I'm not going to act like they didn't just get Jordan Davis this past draft, and they don't got 2 first-round picks this year.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, but at the same time, I mean, that's a good signing for San Francisco. I mean, good run stuff where you could get to the quarterback as well. I mean, again, they have a stout defensive line. So, I mean, I think that's a good signing for them, a really good signing. I did not see Philly bringing them back. I was even shocked that Philly re-signed Darius Slay, if we're being honest.
That's a whole. I don't even know what was going on with that. Like,
I don't know either, man. I really don't.
It's a really weird look, especially considering the fact that the reason they cut him in the first place is because he wouldn't take a pay cut.
Yeah, and they give him an extension. It's what?
Yeah, I don't know about that one either. Like, he was tweeting all on Twitter and everything, just like, yo, we're out. Like, it's been nice. On to the next chapter, blah blah. And then it was just like,
never mind.
Yeah, it was like, yo, we don't want you to leave, bro. And he was just like, all right, I'm staying. Like,
Yeah,
bro, no, leave, get out. Like,
it's too funny. But
they're
you're right,
another
though.
team.
You're right.
They're another team, though. I'm just like, yo, where are you getting this money from when you just threw like mad money at Bradbury and then you turn around and you give Fletcher Cox 1 year, $10 million? Like, you're going outside of that.
They still have Jalen Hurts on a second round pick contract.
Well,
Well,
I know, but
Patricia
still,
Springer was saying that she was saying that like eventually, granted, Howie Roseman might be able to navigate it, but she was like eventually all this dead cap that Philly's accruing is going to catch up to them. So I'm just hoping that it catches up to them like tomorrow instead of 4 or 5 years down the line.
You and me both. I mean, they look just like the Saints. I mean, they are one of those few teams in the league, man, that have a really, really good general manager. And I hate saying it. I mean, Howie Roseman is an excellent general manager. He gets things done. He can, I mean, even when you really look at it, I mean, the value of what they traded to get AJ Brown and then the production that he got, I mean, to me, I thought that was a steal. I mean, you look at different things throughout the past that they've been able to do, not just through trades, but through the draft, through free agency. I mean, there's just some teams in this league that just have a really good front office, a really good general manager. And I hate admitting it, but the Eagles are one of them. You could throw the Saints in there. You could throw San Francisco in there. I mean, the Ravens you could throw in there as like if you like. The Jets outside of the quarterback. I mean, it's just how it is, The Giants right now. I mean, maybe I'm being a little biased, but
no, I mean, if you really
that's right, it's allowed here.
If you really want to break it down and look at
you.
the coaching staff, you look at the way that team developed on the fly, you look at the production that you guys got out of people that like shouldn't even be in the NFL right now, and they got what did you guys get to the second round?
Yep.
Second round of the playoffs. Like what? That stuff doesn't happen. Like that is March Madness level. I hate this March Madness level fuckery right there, where it's just like, bro. And the one thing I can give Daboll so much credit for is that like it's not like he did anything fancy. It's not like he got cute. Everybody knew what the Giants were going to do when they walked into the building. People just couldn't stop it. And that to me says more about a team with projection-wise had no talent, walked into a bunch of teams' buildings and punched them in the face, and teams couldn't bounce back. They got hit so hard they couldn't bounce back to the point where they were beating people's ass in the playoffs. Like the Vikings, who everybody knew were frauds, had people waiting for the shoe to drop and just happened to catch a hot top Giants team with a bunch of nobodies and got punched square in the teeth. Cousins out here looking goofy as hell. Like that to me, is what makes the Giants so damn scary. Is that like, oh, they did this without much help. Now you actually get a small infusion of talent. You get the draft picks. All that stuff is going to now start to come along with guys being in the system a year longer. Like, you guys may not beat the Eagles, but we all know the Cowboys do what the Cowboys do. So, like, that second kind of tier in that division is still very much up for grabs.
Yeah.
I don't even like even Washington to a degree, because we know how just absolutely dreadful the Cowboys can be. There's a very real possibility that the Cowboys end up as a 4th seed in that division this year. Like, it is a very, very real possibility.
I mean, it's possible, but I can't see them being lower than 3, honestly, man. I mean, they made some nice signings. I hate to admit it. I had someone going back and forth with me today about the Stephon Gilmore signing.
It's all good. That's the thing. It's like it's not, and that's the thing. My thing has never been. It's never about the players. They can have all the talent in the world, but for some reason, when it comes down to, hey, we need somebody to go make a play. Hey guys, we gotta go make a play. They don't make the play. They just don't.
I mean, Dak last year had you could say it's a bad year. I mean, I guess statistically, in terms of yards and touchdowns that he had, No, but you look at the turnovers, and especially when they happened. I mean, look at that Jacksonville game alone.
Mhm.
Look at the playoffs. I mean, you look at the game against the Packers. I mean, Dak just did not have a good year last year, in my opinion. And I mean, while they went out and got, I think it was Brandon Cooks today,
Mhm.
actually.
Yeah.
And then they went out and got Gilmore. I mean, those are some nice signings, but I mean, at the end of the day, Dallas to me is still Dallas. They're going to win a lot of games in the regular season. They're going to make it to the postseason, and I mean, they might win the first round, but then you get to the second round, and it is what it is. It's a dud.
When you got to play ugly. And that's the thing with Dallas. What I noticed is Dallas is always that big flashy team. But when you got to play ugly and you got to play nasty and it's not, you can't get cute and you just got to play straight up smash mouth football, they can't do it. Offense, defense, like they just get beat up. And I don't understand it because they have the horses. It doesn't make sense.
Well,
it's coming down to it's gonna come down to Dak, man. At the end of the day, is what it's gonna come down to. And people are starting to turn on him. Everybody's starting to be like, "Yo, it's not my guy. He's not."
They're talking about re-signing him, though. That's the thing, to lower his cap hit. And if they re-sign him, then as a Giants fan, they re-signed him.
They renegotiated his contract. If I remember correctly, they freed up like $36 million or something.
They did that with what's his name too on the offensive line. His name isn't coming to me right now. No, not Tyron. His name is
Martin.
I'm gonna check real quick. His name isn't coming to me real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the issue is with those guys. I feel like it comes down to two things. I feel like it comes down to the coaching and the quarterback. Those are the main two things that it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are turning on Dallas as far as those two.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are like, "Yo, Mike McCarthy's not the guy," and Dak's not the QB. And that's really what it's coming down to. So I'm just waiting to see how. Like, it's to me, it's like it's a sinking ship, and it's like, are you going to cut bait and find somebody else? But the thing is, Dallas keeps, like you said, like Chris was saying, Dallas keeps winning 8, 9, 10, 11 games every year and putting yourself out of contention to get one of these top quarterbacks. So, I mean, it's like, are you going to get stuck with Dak? Are you going to make a trade? You're going to release him? What are you going to do? And if that's the case, are you going to take those down years? Because Dallas fans do not want down years.
Well, they don't have a roster that can deal with down years. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know.
Again, you have so much talent on the offensive and defensive side that you can't do down years.
Yeah. No, and you were right. It was Zach Martin. Dak Prescott and Zach Martin restructuring their contracts, freeing $30 million in space.
I mean, it's just going to be, I don't know. It's going to be tough sledding for them. Like, because everybody's starting to see that Dak's not the guy. But it's just, if you keep winning those games, you're putting yourself in an impossible situation to be able to find the next guy. Now, I don't know what you're going to do going forward. What about Jimmy G to Vegas? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay.
You want to know my real thoughts?
Okay.
Yes, always real thoughts.
I like the signing. I think that obviously them having chemistry with each other, to me, I think that was, if not the perfect signing for that system, near the perfect signing. But even then, I don't see them being a team that goes to the playoffs. And I love Tay Adams. My cat just jumped on my damn computer screen. I love Tay Adams, but at the same time, you look at that division. I expect the Broncos to take a step forward. Obviously, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I mean, I don't know. I think it was a good signing, but for 3 years, I really did think that they should have at least try to get younger at that position. I understand they want to compete, but I like it, but I don't know. I think it's not going to make them any better than what they were when they had Derek Carr, and I could be in that minority.
I don't think that's a minority.
Hold on, Jay. Hold on, because I already see it. Vidgie, you laugh. Vidgie, go ahead, because you've been quiet so far.
Listen, all right. First and foremost, I have no love for Jimmy G. I think he is a product of everywhere he goes. All right. So for me and my agenda, and Jay and Joe, you know exactly where I'm going. For my agenda, this just sets up everything perfectly. For the Raiders to go out and draft Hendon Hooker in the second round and just make all of my jokes, my dad jokes and everything, a possibility. Give me my Las Vegas hooker. Give me my hooker on the strip after the game. Give me my hooker throwing those good balls.
Yeah, okay. They gonna have hooker in Vegas, I see.
I can't stand. Yo, he's been speaking that into existence since like October.
The sad part is if you take it from a purely football standpoint, it makes so much sense. Because again, Hooker is not going to be ready this year. He's going to have to rehab and everything. But he's such a smart player. He's a Jimmy G type in the way that he's just consistent where like whatever he does, he's probably not going to be fantastic. He's not going to be a superstar, but he's going to be great in whatever you put him in. And as long as you have a good team around him, he can be amazing. So I think Hendon Hooker in the second round makes sense for Vegas, especially if they say go Skoronski, or if they really want to be mean, take Paris Johnson at 7 and have the Bears just eat crow at 9. It as much as I'd want them to put Will Levis there and take Will Levis at 7, I could 100% see them wait until the second round and taking Hendon Hooker. And it makes sense. It makes sense to me. If they go and take Hendon Hooker, then the entire move this offseason makes more sense. And I think that they have a much better upside as a team overall.
Speaking into existence.
If they take Hendon Hooker in the second round.
Speaking into existence.
I hate it, but it makes sense. It makes sense.
My God. I mean, listen, I feel like it was kind of like a lateral move. I don't think it really did anything for your team. And then on top of that, you took Waller away from you, so you lost one of his weapons. So to me, it's tough. It's like you traded Darren Waller, you brought a new quarterback in. He doesn't really have a rapport with anybody there. You're going to build that a little bit in the offseason. But like, I could see your move. I could see taking a quarterback second round, sitting him behind Jimmy G for a year or two, and then letting him grow. So, I mean, I like it. I don't know if you guys saw that thing that Colin Cowherd posted on Twitter. I just didn't like how he said it. Like, he was like, Jimmy G, quarterback, good-looking, single, rich, in Vegas. Like, it writes itself.
I saw that.
Like,
Yo,
don't put that energy out there.
Colin
Don't
is
do that
such
to
a
that man.
weird man.
Listen,
I'm sorry. He is such a weird man.
Listen, it happened to the kid from Alabama, okay?
Don't put that
It happened
energy
to
out
him.
there.
It happened to John Gruden. Vegas is a cesspool. Jimmy G's going to sink. Or at the very least, he's going to be on a lot of MGM commercials.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna. I think the face is gonna sell. I get it, but he already had the whole scandal with the porn star or whatever.
I wouldn't say that's a scandal. It just
But
the whole
yeah,
place
but
a porn
like,
star.
he was dating. Yeah, but like he already has that about him. So now people are gonna be like, "Oh, he's in Vegas, rich millionaire playboy," and start just trying to put like again.
He's gonna be at the Pony House a lot. That's it.
There's no
He's
reason
gonna be at the
to
ranch
put
a lot.
this
That's
energy.
all.
Like, let my man just go play football, Colin. Like, why would you even put that on him?
oh my God.
When he's
Like-
out on the field, he's gonna be at the ranch.
Jimmy G taking Hooker out after the game.
Oh, you know,
that is
we're
too
moving
funny.
on. We're moving on. Oh my God.
You're right,
the,
Ruby.
what about
You're
the
right.
what about the Bears? What about the Bears moves?
Listen,
Okay, first and foremost, I hate them. And that's all I have to say.
Signing everybody.
Sit up here trying to be my New York Mets. And that's like, no, just stop. All right? This is football. Not beefing this bullshit right now. As soon as they got Tremaine Edwards, I was mad as hell.
and then they got TJ Edwards, and they signed all these people. I
Listen,
mean,
you got $100 million. You got damn near $100 million.
spend that money.
And
It ain't
your
my
rookie's on a
money,
rookie
shoot.
contract. Like, listen,
Mhm.
listen. I'm
Dude.
signing everybody too. You want to come? All right, cool. You want to come? You want to come too? Yeah, come on.
We got more than enough.
Yeah, like we got money we need to spend. Come on. How much you want? Yeah, whatever. Come on. I'm doing that too. But also, like, think about it. They've invested heavily on the defensive side. They know they recouped all the picks from trading out of number 1. So even like that wide receiver core isn't terrible.
No, I mean
So,
it's
like-
gotten better. You got a DJ Moore with and Mooney, and it's not just all on Claypool now.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And then
I mean-
you have an argument to say that like they could even if the guy they want is not there at 9, I doubt he wouldn't be. But for example, if they're not there at 9, they can trade out of 9 and trade into the team somewhere and take Jackson Smith to Jigba. Like, and then you really just like supercharge and give Justin Fields the Bengals kind of slate and just be like, listen, we get it. The offensive line isn't fantastic, but just hit the guys you need to hit, man.
Who is their tight end?
Who
Uh,
isn't their tight end?
It's
hey, they got like
Cole
8 tight
Kmet.
ends, dude.
Cole Kmet is their number 1 tight end right now.
Okay,
He's
And
not
they
bad. Yeah, he had a
No.
pretty good league year last
It's,
year.
it's not bad. It's not bad. But what I'm thinking is just like because Jay just said trade back and take JSN. But what if they were to trade back and take I don't know Michael Mayer,
Maybe Luke
here's the
Wilson.
thing.
and then later on in the draft you attack wide receiver.
I mean,
That wouldn't be a bad option.
you could do that, but I think Michael Mayer has cooled off for a lot of people. Just for the sense of like he's very like what he is, what he's probably gonna be. Like he's not athletic enough where you're like, okay, he's gonna be Gronk. Now, if they move back and they took say a Darnell Washington, that could be very interesting.
I was literally just thinking about that, dude. I'm like, yo, that's 6'7" on the field for you.
And then
That's
you
like-
have it where you want Justin Fields to run. You have your running. I forgot who their running back is because it's not David Montgomery because David Montgomery.
Not anymore.
It's
So,
Khalil
like-
Herbert.
You have Khalil Herbert. You have those guys, and hell, they could trade back and take freaking
Bijan.
Bijan.
Oh, that would be. You want to talk
Uh,
about a run attack?
Yeah, like
How do you stop that?
you don't like you just shut up and take it with no Vaseline. You just shut up.
I would love that for Justin Fields if they got either Jackson Smith-Njigba or they went and got Bijan Robinson because those two players would take that offense from here to here, man.
And what's crazy is I think Bijan is the type of player universally, like it's accepted universally. If they took Bijan at 9, no one would blink.
At all.
Everyone
At
would be
all.
surprised that they took a running back at 9, but because it's Bijan, like, okay, it makes sense. He to me anyway is one of the top 10 players in this draft. So like,
We're talking about, man. Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
No, you good.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, you talk about the run attack. I mean, I know I just brought that up, but I mean, I left out DJ Moore. You can also get him involved in the running game as well. So I mean, Bijan, that would be one hell of a player. I mean, for Chicago. I mean, I think they need wide receiver help personally, but they could not go wrong. And you're right. Nobody would even bat an eye if it was Bijan at 9 because he's just that good. So.
And you can come back, and I think they have like 30. I want to say 33.
They have enough picks to trade back in if they want.
No, not even that. You can. The receiver class is so poor that the run on receiver is not going to happen until the 20s anyway. So
You think
they
so?
can. I'm almost certain by that. I'm almost certain.
I thought it was honestly. I had it be in the early teens, to be honest.
No.
I
Because-
gotta disagree with you. I think two receivers will be gone by 20 at least.
But who?
I would
Who's gonna be
say.
going
Probably
Somebody
Quentin
like
Addison.
Quentin Johnson.
I would say
Quentin
Quentin
Addison.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quentin Addison, and then you could make an argument, honestly, either Jackson Smith or Jaleel Hyatt.
All right.
Because
So I can debunk all of those right now. Okay, Quentin Johnston, right? The man's if you just want to look at his tape alone, one, he didn't test great. That's the first thing. He didn't test great. Secondly, you look at his tape. The man is literally Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. More Mr. Hyde than Dr. Jekyll, honestly, because it's like your man can't separate. For a big guy, he can't separate for shit. So why the fuck would I invest in that in the 20s? Who's the next guy? Jordan Addison. He ran a 4.5. He's supposed to be a speed guy. Next, who's the next guy?
I don't think Addison was ever supposed to be a speed guy. He's a to me he was always a separation route runner guy. I never had Jordan Addison as a 4.2 guy or 4.3 guy. I never had
the
him.
problem with being that guy is ain't he like 5'9"?
No.
No,
Jordan
no. His
Addison, I think, is
issue
like
was
6
weight.
foot. I think he's 6 foot.
His issue is weight because he's like 170, 175.
Yeah, so I mean, I
Zay
don't know.
Flowers for that too.
He's
Mhm.
like again, I think Zay Flowers will get picked over Jordan Addison if I'm being honest with you.
Like, look, what I was basically getting at from before, like, and we went over this when we did our mock draft before. The basic consensus is the fact that Houston is going to take a quarterback at 2, and then they still have 12. So the idea is give him a number 1 right off of the bat.
I don't think any of these guys are number 1. That's what I'm getting at. I don't think these
That-
guys are number 1s.
That's that's an idea. I don't know, like, to me, like I haven't actually gone and watched a whole ton of TCU highlights and stuff like that. But you know how this mess goes.
No,
They're gonna look
get
at his measurables and everything else like that, and they're gonna sit up there and just think about it like this: how often has Houston picked out of the top 10?
I mean, again, Houston, it's one of those situations where if I'm looking at it from, if I'm being logical here, and I think this is just Brett getting in my head a little bit,
Mhm.
I look at that defense and I'm looking at the guys that are going to be available at 12. Like, that's still the upper echelon corners for them. And
Yeah,
you get a
you can
really good
technically
guy.
do that.
Yeah, you get a really good guy to pair with Derek Stingley, and you're ready to rock. And
I'm just
again,
thinking of it like this: how often and the reason why I brought up like how often do you see Houston picking outside of the top 10 is their front office. How often do you actually expect them to make intelligent decisions?
I'm not worried about them because this pick is Cleveland's, and they still got next year's Cleveland's pick too.
So
Why do
what
they
I'm
do
what
it
I'm
again?
what I'm getting at what I'm getting at is last year they sat up there and they looked at your corner and they looked at Derek Stingley and they were just like, "Let me get Stingley."
Well, there's an argument there, though. Like, there's a real argument for Stingley over Sauce, and there was a real argument for Stingley over Sauce. So I can't even knock them for it, just because again, Stingley at one point was the best player in college football.
Yeah, it's
Before the
freshman
injuries,
year.
yeah.
That's freshman year.
No,
Like I
get
said,
it. And
I'm
whenever the interviews happened, like they obviously it checked out. And again, I think he's still coming back and recovering from being hurt. So
I'm just putting it out there like this: if you think like they're going to sit up there and always 100% make the logical decision like that, that's not necessarily Houston's game because of the fact that they've shown you in their history and because of the fact that they're always picking in this position or whatever. You know they're going to sit up here and they're going to make decisions that are logical to them and may not be logical to everybody else on the outside. The other thing, like I was saying before, you got a pattern that's growing now in a team drafting a quarterback and then getting somebody that he used to play with as his wide receiver, which is why I don't think Addison is getting past Pittsburgh.
I mean, I think that's a solid argument. I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. If I'm Houston, right, I just signed my new head coach to a 6-year contract. I know that my team needs not only revamping, but you want to talk about takedown, reconstructing. They need a lot right now. And even though they do have 2 first-round picks this year, 2 first-round picks next year, if I'm Houston, I'm saying I need to get my head coach as much resources as I possibly can. Maybe try to trade pick 12 back and collect more capital. And you could get a wide receiver if you're still in the first round, which I think they would be, and even in the second round at a worst case, because while they don't have, and even if they take the defensive approach, right? Yeah, they could go corner, but I think they could also go edge too. I mean, because their defensive line is not that good either.
Right.
But you're right, though. They unfortunately show a level of incompetence that they're just one of those teams that can mess this up. I hope not, because they went out and signed a really good coach, in my opinion, and I would hope.
And they've had some solid, like, you look at their offseason moves, like they've made some really nice moves.
The only thing I'm thinking is the receiver room. The receiver room's not that great, which is the only reason I'd really see taking the receiver. Like,
but does one wide receiver help though? That's the thing. Like,
no,
I would need multiple. So that's what I'm saying. I would trade that pick back just to collect more capital. You know, I don't think they would, but it would be smart for at least to revamp that team, which needs a lot of revamping. They have some pieces there in Tunsil and Stingley, but Outside of that, I mean, oh, and
Like you said,
Pierce, but
I could
yeah,
see, like you guys said, I could see going defense because you have a defensive coach, and I can see you just stacking the defense up and then adding offensive pieces. But I also, again, the reason like I was just agreeing with Benji is like it's Houston, and when have they shown to be competent since they've been founded? Like,
you're right. You're right.
so it's
Yeah.
just. So it's just like you get your court. So in there, it's to them, like Benji was saying, it might not be logical to us, but to them, it might be you get our franchise quarterback and you get your cornerstone receiver, and that's your pair. So that's that. I could see to receive 2 to 3 receivers going in the first round.
Yeah.
And I do think somebody's going to. I'm not going to say it's a reach or not, but I do see somebody reaching for Jalen Hyatt. I do see that happening.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
somebody's going to fall in
yeah.
love with his speed.
Yeah. I see it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could see him getting picked up, honestly, like in the early 20s, late teens, especially if I'm a team like, let's say, like the Giants this for this instance, right? Not saying they would take him at 25, but where I'm at 57 in the second round, where I know he's not going to make it, if that's my best option there, and I see that there's still some corners on the board, again, I might make that move, knowing how deep this corner class is, and knowing that this guy can not only take the top off of defenses, he does have some good traits as a wide receiver, but he's not going to make it to the second round. So, I mean, I think I do agree. I think there is going to be a team that does take that chance on him. And to go to your point that you were saying earlier about no number ones being in this draft, I mean, you're right. Look, there is no Jamar Chase in this draft. There is no Jefferson. There is no Waddle in this draft. But with how the wide receiver market is going right now, there's a lot of teams that do need wide receiver, I feel, and they're going to be I feel like they are going to be taken in the first round, despite maybe them not being a first rounded grade wide receiver. Again, like Jalen Hyatt, or you can make an argument for Zay Flowers, who I personally, and I've been saying this on Twitter, I really do want Zay Flowers or Jordan Addison. Those are my two right there. I've talked myself out of JSN just because I've told myself he is either a bear. He is either a bear or a Texan. I gotta be honest here. I just don't see him getting past. I don't see him getting past 16, 17 at worst. And I don't know if my team trades up in this draft as much as I would love them to. I just don't know if they do.
Here's my thing. My last point on the draft before we move on. The reason why I'm so down on this receiver class is because what I'm realizing is that with talent evaluators as well as GMs, they're starting to not categorize guys by positions, but by what they can do. So instead of it being like, oh, we need receivers, it's just like, oh, we need pass catchers and playmakers. The one position that has pass catchers and playmakers are the tight ends. And though they have guys that you can throw in the slot, they have guys that you can load up on tight end and have 2 slot guys and then just have your 2 outside guys just go. And you can change up the offense in that way. And I think they're more beneficial than a wide receiver who just can't play, is undersized, is underweight, or whatever, just because they play the wide receiver position. Like, if they're not pass catchers or playmakers, it doesn't make sense to take them. That's why I'm saying I don't think the wide receiver run happens at least until maybe 22.
I listen. If that does happen, as a Giants fan, I would love it. I personally, I would. You would not hear a single complaint. I might have to call Joe and be like, "Hey, yo, tell him I said thank you." Like, you feel me? Like, for speaking into an existence. You feel me? Because I really want JSN, man, but I just know he's not coming to New York.
No, I know. I'm not looking at Jackson Smith the Jig, but like that's not a guy I'm looking at. I think he'll be gone. Like I don't think he makes it past Seattle.
No, for sure.
I think somebody's gonna reach on Quentin Johnson because of height, weight, speed. But anybody else, I'm like, I don't see the argument over one of the bevy of tight ends that can give you far more, far sooner. And
I'm not even big on Quentin Johnson.
Cap as much.
Yeah, I'm not too big on him either, man. I mean, I see the potential with him, but at the same time, Quentin Johnson. I see the potential, but like you stated earlier, he doesn't create separation.
He doesn't separate.
I mean, it's going to depend on what offense am I running. Can he fit in my offense? And I mean, I've seen some people try to compare him to Mike Williams, and I think the Mike Williams of the world, the Mike Evans, where they're these big body wide receivers, they can create separation. They can go get those 50-50 balls. They have decent speed.
They're uber athletic.
Yes, I was just
athlete.
about to say that. I don't know if he is.
He's not an athlete. Like until he shows me something else, you look at the combine was the time to prove that you're an athlete. His numbers are very, very average, if not below average. His
The main reason
is
the main reason I don't want him is because he's a body catcher. I don't want body catchers,
and that's another.
I hate that more than anything.
You look at those guys, that's why I said I don't see it. I really don't see it.
Like more than anything, I hate just trying to catch the ball and the ball hits you in the chest and trying to just like catch it like that. I hate that more than anything. Use your hands. That's like if you're that big with that big a frame and all that, put your hands out and frame the ball with your hands and catch it. Like when you let the ball end up on you, that's when defenders can just reach over you and snap the ball away. Like so to watch most of his highlights and everything is him just jumping and catching it like this, like nah, I don't want that. I want you to be able to separate and use your hands and put your foot in the ground and go. And I don't see that from him. So he's not even on my board. If Johnson's there at 25, I don't want him.
No. And that's my point. That's why I'm looking at this receiver class where I'm like, can we get a little love for the tight ends? Because it's like if I'm looking for a big body guy that can just go out there and make 50-50 catches, I'm looking at Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, and he's gonna go first round. He's gonna go first round.
And that's what I'm saying. You look at a guy like Darnell Washington, where it's like, did you see the catch he had at the combine? His last catch?
It was
nice. Man had an Odell level catch at 6'9".
At tight end.
I'm
a big Luke Musgrave fan personally. I mean, I think
what I'm saying? Like,
dog,
give me those guys. If I'm looking for that's why I said Quentin Johnson to me doesn't make sense because he reminds me too much of like Cager.
Oh, Lawrence Cager?
Lawrence Cager. I couldn't remember his first name.
Yeah, we have him on the Giants right now.
I was about to say, stop talking about my third tight end.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I was about to say he's on our team right now. I mean,
you're welcome.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh my gosh. All right, let me ask you guys this. What do you think about the whole this whole Orlando Brown Jawan Taylor thing? Orlando Brown, the Chiefs letting Orlando Brown go. I guess you're saying he fumbled the bag. So
yeah.
This whole and then the Chiefs went out and they got Jawan Taylor. They're probably going to add another tackle because they lost both their tackles. They let go of Orlando and then Andrew Wiley left too. I think he signed with the Commanders. I believe that right.
Who Andrew? You said Andrew Wiley?
Yeah, I think he went to the Commanders.
I know they got Gates. They added quite a few pieces.
Yeah, they did.
I believe so. Let me double check. I'm gonna check right now.
I mean, I have Spot Track if you think I would scroll down, but
he went to the Commanders.
Okay, so what do you think about the whole situation there, like Orlando Brown and the whole Jawan Taylor? Do you think they overpaid for Jawan Taylor? Like,
I'll be very quick here. I personally think my only issue with it is I don't know how I feel moving a right tackle to left tackle. I'm okay with moving my left tackle to right tackle, but I don't know if I'm okay moving Jawan from right tackle to left tackle. I do think that Orlando fumbled the bag just a little bit, if I'm being honest here. But at the same time, the Bengals improved. They needed help on that offensive line. I think he's a stout player, but that's my only issue because I think Jawan, he's a solid player. He had a good year for Jacksonville, but at the same time, and you would know more than me, Joe. I just don't know how I feel about moving a right tackle to left tackle as opposed to the opposite.
Yeah. I don't think Taylor's ever played left tackle, which is what makes me look the most scared of that situation. And it's you're going to play left tackle for the best quarterback in the league. Like you better be good. That's just my only thing with him. Benji, Jay, what do y'all think?
As an AFC guy, I love it. I'm putting my best pass rusher on the left side. Say, go get him. Go get him. Get him.
This man has no faith.
Go get him. None. Now, in terms
No
of Orlando
faith.
Brown, whoever is my finance guy, whoever my money guy is, I'm firing him. That's $10 million. That's $10 million a year that he just lost that he's not getting back. Like, that's $10 million worth of earning potential that you can never get back because you quote unquote bet on yourself. And you move from the defending champions to a contender, maybe. Like, to a contender, yeah, you're probably gonna have to play Kansas City again. But you went from like more than likely making it back to the play to the championship, or at least to the AFC championship, to like hopefully you make it to past the second round because the AFC is a gauntlet. And it's like, are you still betting on yourself? Sure, but you're not making that $10 million back. And like $10 million, let's keep it a buck. $10 million is life-changing money.
You're right. No, it is. And I agree with you 100% because it's like you went from a team that is they have a good 50-50 shot year in and year out to go to the Super Bowl to a team that you got to beat the best team in the league now to have a shot to go into the Super Bowl. So
you got to beat a bunch of you got to not only beat the best team, you got to beat a bunch of teams that are equal to not better than you on a consistent basis, and teams that may be below you talent-wise, but have beat your ass in the past.
You're right.
Like,
You're right.
like the Bengals, literally, you got to look at the AFC. Like, the AFC, you're going to war every game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there isn't any layoff right now.
I mean, and I'm very happy to be a fan of a team in the NFC right now because I would hate to be a fan of a team in the AFC. I would hate it, man, because that is one tough conference right now, and especially in your division, out of all divisions.
It's a bloodbath. Like it's literally a bloodbath, and it's like, listen, everybody's gonna come out hurt. Everybody's gonna come out bloody. No one's gonna be 100% at the end of the year. Everybody's gonna be tired. But when we play the teams that aren't as battle tested, we gonna give them some work. Like whoever we play in the Super Bowl, they better come with their hard hats on. Whoever plays, whatever team comes out of the AFC, to me, I'm putting all my money on them. I don't care who comes out of the NFC because the NFC is not gonna have as hard of a road as the AFC this year. Like that's just fact.
No, I mean look at the top quarterbacks in the NFC. Like
you can, they go two hands deep at least.
Like you look at the AFC quarterbacks, and you got Mahomes, you got Allen, you got A-Rod's about to be over there. Like it just goes and goes and goes. Like Burrow and Herbie, and
depending on what happens with Lamar, you still have Lamar because that's still a problem.
Yeah,
like Trevor Lawrence.
Like, and then you look at the NFC, and it's just like
Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Derek.
You're not playing Kyler
Toy
Murray
Story car. Like,
you're not playing Kyler Murray this year, though.
No,
I'm saying just like in just the conference in general.
Yeah, like that's not to be crazy, but like, yo, if the Eagles fall off or the Eagles get hit with like the injury bug, there's a very, very real chance that the Giants are at the top of the NFC. Like there's a very clear road that the Giants should be. Now, mind you, even though you have a home game this year, like you know that game at MetLife is going to be a war zone because the Jets will probably be playing for their lives. The Giants will probably be playing for a top seed. So it's gonna be one of those that are probably gonna be off the Richter scale this year, just because both teams have too much to play for.
I'm telling y'all right now, and y'all can cut this, y'all can bookmark this. That game will be a primetime game.
They better be.
It better be.
It will be a primetime game. And I agree with y'all. It better be a primetime game, especially if A-Rod goes there.
8:15.
Because
Sunday night. I
want that Sunday night.
Listen, I'm about to knock the ayahuasca out of Aaron Rodgers.
Looking at our schedule, like not even our schedule, looking at our opponents already, I can already see 4 primetime games for us. We're going to get one with Dallas. We're going to get one with Philadelphia. The Jets should be one, and the other one is Buffalo.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? You might
be right. Played a whole division this year.
You might be right.
Going to this Jets Giants game is what I'm hearing.
Hey, I'm trying to go to a couple. I haven't truthfully, I haven't been to MetLife in so long.
I've
but,
never been to MetLife.
there's a couple of I'm trying to go to this. One being
Oddly enough, I haven't been to MetLife for a Giants game. I've been out there, well, not for a regular season game. I was out there for the Jets game in the preseason last year. And I've been out there for FanFest. But the other thing that I was out there for, Joe, you remember this, was the USC Syracuse game.
Oh my
Bro,
God.
Oh my God. We're not even gonna. That's a whole nother podcast. We're not even gonna touch that right now. I almost got jumped. We're not doing this.
we all almost got jumped.
Yeah, we all almost got jumped by a whole crowd of Syracuse fans. We're not doing that.
Menace to
Oh,
society.
Listen, we want to do is make this Jets Giants thing a game. I'm down.
I'm trying to go to some of the games this year. I mean, my girl is a diehard Cowboys fan, so I mean we're trying to figure something out. But yeah, no, there's a couple games to try to go to this year, so we should definitely plan something out.
Terrible. So Jay, I want to ask you, what's going on with this hostage situation in MetLife? What's up with this?
I mean, it's one of those situations where it's a game of chicken because, nobody really knows what's going on for the first time in a while. Like, at this point, you can't even trust what Schefter and Rappaport report because Aaron Rodgers just made them look foolish on national TV. So the way I see it, it's like if Green Bay's leaking things, if the narrative looks like it's leaning towards Green Bay, it's because Green Bay's leaking it. Because nothing's like we signed like 2-3 dudes that we didn't even know were visiting. That's how airtight One Jets Drive is. We don't even know who's in the building anymore. Like we don't know anything about the team this offseason. People are just randomly getting signed. So I don't know who's there.
About to say, I've only seen you guys sign like two. You said 2 guards or 1 guard. You re-signed 1 person.
We re-signed a guard. We signed Quincy. We signed Alan Lazard, and who the hell else is the other person?
And then you got and
we signed the punter that we let go for
Braden Mann, right?
Braden Mann, and we're looking to trade Braden Mann. Like that.
Yeah, I saw that. Like you signed him and you're trying to trade him now.
No. We signed Thomas Moorehead so that we can trade Braden Mann.
I see. Okay.
Other than that, and we re-signed Solomon Thomas.
Yeah, I saw that for depth and everything.
We truly
had that whole leak list coming out with Aaron Rodgers. Like this is my wish.
And that's the whole thing.
Demands
it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like
I need Lazard, Randall Cobb, Odell, Mercedes Lewis.
The funny thing is if we sign Randall Cobb, I'm fine with it because you add Randall Cobb, you add one of the better slot receivers in history as a wide receiver 6.
I didn't even know he was a free agent. I thought he was on the Texans. I guess it was just a 1-year deal though.
I guess. And then we bring in Mercedes Lewis to be tight end 4, 4. Because if he comes in, we're not keeping Kenny Yeboah. Or this just not happening. Whatever.
Yeah.
But then you have an actual mentor for what's his face?
Zoma, we got Ruckert and Tomlinson.
Ruckert. So it's and Ruckert's probably going to get playtime this year. So you have another guy that knows the system that can help Ruckert along. So I'm like, okay, and he don't even got to suit up on that's an automatic to me. That's 2 healthy scratches every week.
That dude's like a tight end coach.
Yeah, that's 2 healthy scratches. And we don't have a wide receiver coach, so why not bring in Randall Cobb?
You're getting a receiver coach and a tight end coach. Now, unfortunately, you're probably going to move on from either Davis or Mims. I'm pretty sure, but
I'll take Mims and
the foregone conclusion.
This guy, not more. More ain't going where Davis and Mims are leaving though.
Yeah.
Listen,
most likely both, if not Davis. Davis, I know for a fact is leaving.
Yeah, maybe everybody knows.
Yeah, that's a foregone conclusion. But that's the thing. Everyone's making it out to be a hostage situation when it's just it's one of those situations where the deal's on the table, take it or leave it. If you don't take it, then it's okay, you didn't take it. Big deal.
I just want to know. I
Like,
just
good luck
want
with
to know.
earning that $60 million cap hit, buddy. Like, good luck, guys.
I just like because the Packers already came out and said like we want uh Jordan Love to be our quarterback next year. So obviously you want to move on from Derek. So it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, you want to move on from him, but it's
How
like,
bad?
yeah, like how bad do you really want to move on from? Because if that's the case, you're holding it up. Like,
Mhm.
You're right. You're right.
so just let the deal be done. Now I just want to know compensation. That's what I really want to know. Like because Aaron's saying the deal's done, and everybody's saying the
Aaron
deal's
never said the
done.
deal was. Aaron
Well,
never said
he's
the deal was.
saying he's not the main guy that's holding it up. In my is what I'm saying. But like other people have been saying the deal is done. I know there's pretty other facts and figures, probably little small things to work through, but I just want no compensation.
Here's the
Like
thing:
that's
if
my
if
biggest
it's
thing.
smart, then it's something around the third or fourth this year. Next year, there's probably conditional picks depending on if he makes a Pro Bowl, if he throws a certain amount of yards, if we make the playoffs, if we make it to the Super Bowl. Like, there are compensatory picks. There are probably 2-3 years of compensatory picks.
I can
But
see that.
I mean, not compensatory picks, conditional picks.
Conditional picks, yeah.
And then like Corey Davis and maybe Jordan Whitehead. Like, those are the only like there's nothing else really to be said about it. I think the thing is, I think it's about the money that the Packers don't want to eat. It's the cap hit. Because the Packers are the one who agreed to the deal to pay him $60 million.
Yeah,
The Jets are like, we'll
JD
take
didn't do that.
15. We'll maybe take 20, but we're
15
not
of the
taking most of that 60. Like, that's a dub. We're not doing that.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I wouldn't either.
You're not
I
doing
would
that.
not either if I was the Jets.
And then
You
on
got your
top of that,
money.
you look at the Packers situation. It's like, is that team really ready to win now, or do they need to add more pieces? Can they add more pieces with a $60 million cap hit from a guy who's playing?
I think the Packers are going to be down bad next year. To be honest, like
From a
I
cap
think that
situation, so it's like you better
I
take
think
this
that
little bit of cap you fitting to get.
that whole division going to be open. I think because
Is
you're like the Packers are going to be down. They're going to have Jordan Love, and Jordan Love looked to me in the limited amount that he got last year. The Bears are playing, franchise mode with no salary cap on. They're just signing everybody. So the Bears are going to be somewhat type of competent, you hope. Then the Vikings, obviously, they were a fraud, but they frauded them way to 11 wins last year. And
The
then
Lions
the
look good.
Lions came on late last year, and they're going to keep adding pieces too. Now they lost Jamal Williams, which is huge, but you can replace that. Like obviously, people who they get?
Don't they got a second
David
pick?
Montgomery, right?
Yeah.
do.
They signed
Yeah.
David Montgomery. So
They signed David Montgomery, and they're going to get more pieces. They got Jameson Williams going to come back full time and be fully healthy now. Like
that's a big thing too. Like, now you got your probably number one receiver, if not 1A.
him and Amon-Ra.
Yeah,
Yep.
like,
That's a nice combo right there.
and then
That's a
on top of
really
that, they
nice
can
combo.
take one of the top tight ends because I think they got like 20,
Oh,
21 or something like that this
They'll
year.
add-
19?
They in that range somewhere. So it's like,
I mean, if I'm the Lions, I'm not taking a tight end in the first. I learned my lesson with Hawkinson, but
and that's the thing. Hawkinson was
You
probably
know?
their best offensive player for the
I
time.
was about to say,
And they traded him in
good for
division too.
Yeah, that was.
But again, you look at a guy. You can look at it from a standpoint of like, there are guys in this draft with way more upside than Hawkinson.
18.
Way more upside. 18. And again, they can also trade back because guys are going to want to jump Seattle. Guys are going to want to jump Tampa Bay. Like, you can trade back at 18, especially for a team like the Cowboys, like you said. Like, say if Bijan drops and the Cowboys want to trade up, I'm trading back. Like,
Get more picks.
Okay, y'all want to trade up? Give me what I want.
You're right. You're right.
I've just got to brace myself for the Cowboys taking Bijan Robinson.
Don't speak it into existence. Y'all gonna
I
make me
know,
mad. Don't speak
I
it
know.
into existence.
I know. The one
I be
thing
having
I'm
to tell
waiting,
my boys to stop because like that should be ugh.
the one thing
God.
I'm waiting to see is if the Chargers would take Bijan because Adam Eckler wants out. So maybe if the Chargers take
That wouldn't
him,
be
maybe
bad.
that happens. Like,
And
that
then
would
probably,
be good.
again, they have the ammo to trade up.
They do.
There's also I don't know if this would actually go down just because of like we're picking so late in the draft that it's just like, all right, there's like so much stuff that would have to fall into place for this to happen. But Dallas picks right after us. Who picks right after Dallas?
Buffalo.
Where did our front office come from?
Yeah.
Listen, if
Yeah.
we screw the Dallas Cowboys over like they did us, I would die. I would die if we did that.
And you guys could
I
still
would,
get the player that you want if you move
Mhm.
back a couple of picks. Like, you could definitely do
oh
that.
my god. You're
Now,
sick
granted,
person.
that's all assuming that Dallas doesn't trade up or whatever if
And
they
that's what
see
I'm
this
saying.
guy falling. But
Because think about it. You see a team like I'm looking at 14 to 7 to damn near 18. You got the Patriots who need picks. You got Green Bay who doesn't know what the hell they're doing. You got Washington who probably could acquire more picks. You got the Steelers who probably can want more picks. You got the Lions. Like all teams that are very open to trading back because of the fact you got to look at it too. You got to look at what are their positions of needs. All those positions are going to get pushed down from the corner frenzy and the offensive tackle frenzy, and then you have like the edges that are going to go early. So you can move back for any one of those teams and get an edge guy you want, or you can take the first interior guy and get the guy that you want. It all makes sense. And then Bijan, again, like you said, instead of that, that's why I don't look at the receivers dropping as much as I'm like, the further Bijan goes, the more complicated the draft gets because guys are going to want to move up to get him. Because all he has to do is drop out of the top 10. You can take a running back at 15 and no one's going to bat an eye. You can take a running back at 12 and no one's really going to bat an eye.
Especially if they're up to his talent, absolutely.
Yeah, like this guy is, again, he posts better. I think, what is it, RES numbers and Saquon and Zeke. Like he's in that upper echelon where those first 3 or 4 years could be Todd Gurley on the Rams. Like that is, people forget how fucking amazing Todd Gurley on the Rams
was the man. Todd was the man on the
Like
Rams.
he was arguably the best player in the league.
Oh my god. I don't want to talk about that either because
that's the kind of talent we're talking about right now.
Because the Giants could have Todd Gurley and we got Eric Flowers.
I know. Don't
You know what I'm saying?
remind me. Don't even remind me.
That's the kind of talent we're talking about. So like, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of like, you look at the top 10. I'm looking at most of the top 10 guys. Like the only people I'm looking at moving back is probably Arizona or maybe Seattle, and they're still staying and they're still going to try to stay within the top 10. After the Eagles at 10, it's a fucking free for all. Anybody, like any deal is possible at 11, from 11 down, especially when you have a guy like Bijan in play. And Lord heaven forbid, freaking what's his name, Jalen Carter drops, which is looking like he's taking a plummet.
People were saying, I read today that they still believe he'll go in the top 10, but they just don't know where. I mean,
I don't believe he's not facing any jail time, correct?
No.
Nah,
he already he pleaded no contest.
It's I mean, it's a far fall from going from like a top 3 to the top 5, but people are still thinking like he'll go top 10 still.
I think he either goes to Chicago or I think he goes to Philly. It's either one of those two for me.
Here's the thing with Philly.
I don't freaking need him and Jordan Davis in Philly.
No, I mean, I can see them taking it, but I think you have a situation where that's like the one position Philly kind of needs is corner.
I have them getting Christian Gonzalez, if I'm being honest.
So do I, but that's my thing.
Yes,
like,
I did before they brought Slay back.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And now it's like you're gonna take a third one and you just gave Slay like another 30 million and you gave Bradbury 38 million. So it's like you take a corner in the top 5 to 10. It's kind of like now I mean I guess you play
which is why I think Jay is gonna be really, really pissed off at this draft. Because I think Philly's gonna get his guy.
Who's my guy?
Branch.
Oh no, I only want Branch if the 3 offensive tackles are off the board.
Mm.
That's my thing. Like I'm all 100% offensive tackle at 13 by and large.
I think in their case, like Branch would be their replacement for Gardner Johnson.
Which again makes a lot of sense.
If Gardner's to come back. If Gardner's to come back, because Gardner's playing.
Yeah, we can't use social media activity as a basis for anything now that Darius Slay decided he wanted to see you guys later. Hey, I'm back.
Because I forgot what the hell he posted on social media, but Giants and Jets fans were commenting like, bro, he's about to come to New York. I think he like
Who?
tagged like a freaking Gardner. I'm like,
I don't know.
everyone's
I
just
don't
like,
I
know.
yo,
don't remember seeing anything.
I seen like under his comment where he had like the eyes emoji and then he tagged like a agency or something like that. I think it was probably connected to a comment that got deleted or something. But then all I seen was like Jets and Giants fans like, yo, he's coming to New York. But nobody really could say where he's going. I don't think the Jets go after him now with how productive, like how much it seems like they like Chuck Clark. But
Yeah,
I
you guys
think
traded for the guy.
Yeah, if they're getting rid of Whitehead, then sure.
As far as I know, I've heard nothing about us going or being interested in CJ. And I know
Yeah, I haven't heard
between
nothing
me
either.
and Hit Squad, me and Chris, we scour Twitter like all day, every day. So
And that's my thing. I can't really speak on any Jets moves because again, it's been Fort Knox coming out of one Jets drive. We know I don't even by this point we would have had a feel of what even draft picks they like. We don't even know who they like in the draft. This is just like, fans thinking we need reinforcements on the tackles position because we had 6 tackles on IR last year. We honestly don't know who they like.
that's crazy.
That's crazy.
You get what I'm saying? Like we're going based on like, hey, we want to tackle because we just need tackle depth or we need talent at tackle. Truthfully, the Jets can have a completely different agenda and nobody, like 13, I can tell you nobody knows who the hell they're going to take.
Before we jump to the Giants side of things, what is real quick, Jay? What is your reaction, I guess, to the Alan Lazard signing? Like,
it just means Corey Davis isn't coming back.
Like, you okay with it money wise? I think. I
mean, it's a 2-year, $22 million contract. You can say 4 years, I get all that, but realistically, it's like if you've played well and you have chemistry with someone else besides Aaron Rodgers, and you decide to say we can talk about it, but it's 2 years because they figure Aaron Rodgers will probably be around for another 2 years. 2 years, $11 million, which is essentially the same thing for a bigger, more reliable, more durable, probably better hands catcher version of Corey Davis. Yeah, sign me up. Like the money's a wash. So it's like once you cut him, the money's a wash. I'm like, all right. Shit.
I know. Well, while it's Fort Knox for the Jets, it's freaking open season for the Giants right now. I know like this first week we went off and everybody's been talking about Joe Shane's been cooking on Twitter. So
he been eating. I've been watching it like, God damn, okay.
Yeah, I know. Every day.
After the first couple of hours where everybody was trying to fire him.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's the worst. Like Giants Twitter is an awful place sometimes.
It's one of the
toxic. Hella toxic.
Yeah, honestly, I hate saying this.
It's putting it nicely, Jay.
Pessimistic like areas you can be in because you have I've never seen such a divide in a fan base for no reason whatsoever. It started with Daniel Jones, and then now it's like every minute little thing. That, and it's just it's a lot of people with profile pictures that got eggs on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got on creepy like Russian spy bots and shit
for real.
Giants Twitter, it's weird as fuck.
I do apologize real quick. I'm so sorry. I do have to head out, but I want to say I had a really good time with y'all.
Much love.
I appreciate having you, man.
Yeah. My bad. I didn't mean to come in awkwardly right there. My girl blowing on my phone, so I just got to pick her up from the salon real quick. But I'm gonna be this on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'll be in the comments, so we good. But it was nice meeting you, bro, and I appreciate y'all having me, y'all, man. It's always a good time, man.
Nah, like I said, we're definitely gonna do some more collab in the future. So appreciate you coming on as always. We'll be doing mock drafts and we'll be doing free agency week 2 and everything. So make sure we'll connect definitely.
Absolutely, bro. Y'all be safe.
Be good,
bro. Yeah. So Vigi, I'll kick it to you. This first week's in the book for the Giants fans, and I know we've signed Raheem Nunez Noches, D tackle. We signed Bobby Okirike, that's actually how you pronounce his name. I learned that earlier in the week. It's not Okereke, it's Okirike.
And I knew
Um,
that from the Colts game.
yeah, no, a lot of people just kept saying Okereke. It's Okirike. So yeah, we signed him, and we were trying a couple pieces, Breda and everything. We ultimately Nick Gates is gone, unfortunately.
Mhm.
But it sucks. But the guy, he's a great story, and he went and got paid, so I'm not mad at it. But
No.
what are your thoughts on Giants move so far?
Two things before I get into that. First and foremost, happy birthday to the legend Ahmad Bradshaw. He today is his birthday.
Yeah, I saw that.
Second, Nick Gates, and this is again me still being salty from the NFL awards. Nick Gates should be comeback player of the year, but that's neither here nor there. All right. Now, as far as the signings and everything that we got, Bobby Okereke is the big one. All right, because I don't think we have had a competent linebacker on this team, like a captain type linebacker on the defense since Antonio Pierce was the guy back there. Now, you
Oh
can
my
point
god.
to John Beeson, you can point to Michael Boley and things like that, but neither one of them made the impact that Antonio Pierce did. And I think Okereke is going to have that type of impact on our defense, especially considering the way that guys were getting washed out of plays last year with Micah McFadden and Jalen Smith. And like there was just absolutely no one to fill these holes and everything. That, when our defensive line was getting, double teamed and pushed out of the way and everything like that. And Justin Ellis was getting hip tossed with one hand by running backs and all kinds
Jesus.
of stuff. Like so like you're going to have somebody that's actually in there filling these holes up and everything like that. So you're going to see, I'm hoping you're going to see like a market improvement in our run defense. On top of the fact that Okereke is actually pretty decent or to above average in coverage, which is something we also haven't had here in a while.
Coverage linebacker.
Yeah.
Sure.
The other things, like we're sitting here and we're looking at guys like Nacho, who's coming in to help bolster the defensive line. We haven't, like, you look at Cat and you look at Dexter Lawrence. Both of those are like, all right, Dex is a nose tackle, but Dex isn't a guy that's going to sit up here and just blow up every running play that comes his way. He's more of a pass rusher than anything else. All right. Cat, the more I see Leonard Williams, the more I realize that Leonard Williams really isn't too much of a defensive tackle. He's a defensive end. He's just in the wrong spot. So,
Yeah. It's
so
the truth, though.
it's just like you got to get somebody in there that is a run stopper, and Nacho is going to help out there, and hopefully with what we're looking at tomorrow with Robinson coming in for a visit or whatever, that's a possibility that he can get picked up and also help bolster the interior of the defensive line, which was a big problem.
It'd be huge. It'd be a big pickup too. If he can stay healthy,
Yeah.
it'd be a good pickup for sure.
Now, we mess around and we lose a guy like Julian Love, who I know a lot of people, when they think of Julian Love, the first thing that's going to pop in their head is that stupid play that he made against the Eagles, where he was deciding that he wanted to try and fair catch a pass that he thought was going to go over, what was that, Devontae Smith's head or something, and it ended up becoming a touchdown.
Yep.
Instead of making a play on the ball, or at the very least just sitting up here putting his shoulder right in Devontae Smith's back.
Something, his rib, something. Like,
but the other thing is the fact that, like, when you lose him, you got a guy who's coming out of the secondary who was a consistent there for the last 4 years. So you're losing a piece there, and you're losing a guy who was a leader in that secondary. And granted, you still have McKinney back there, but I made my feelings known on McKinney before, when he had the ATV accident. It's just like, all right, how much can I trust you to actually be a leader when you're going to go out there and you're going to put yourself in a position to not be available and is not necessary. So I can understand, like, people are gonna like gravitate towards McKinney and everything like that, and I want to as well. But I want to see some improvement when it comes to his off-field decision making to make sure that I'm like, all right, completely good with the fact that we're losing basically the captain in the secondary. So I'm hoping that Dane Belton could step up. If in fact, like you guys were saying before, there is any type of smoke when it comes to CJ Gardner Johnson, maybe that happens. But again, none of us have heard anything. So there's no idea as to what's going on there. To get back to the DL before I actually hop over to the offense, Cat and Dex need to have their contracts addressed immediately. And I'm sure Joe Shane is on it, but the Giants historically are like the CIA when it comes to stuff like this. You never hear anything until it happens. So it's just like they're like the fan base itself is in like this little frenzy or whatever, where it's just like, all right, we know this stuff has to get done. You're starting to see people, in situations and everything like that where they're actually moving on and pieces are going to different places, and we're starting to get a little more frantic because it's just like, all right, we have to do this so that we can hop on this. I know it's going to end up getting done. Same thing with Saquon when I move over to the offense. But, like, I'm just sitting up here and I'm just like, I need this mess taken care of just for my own sanity's sake.
That's for all of our sake. We're, like you said, we're waiting on to see what happens with the Cat deal, him getting restructured. People are starting to call for Cat to just be flat out cut.
I don't see why you would do that.
I don't either. People are talking about the Leo deal, or not Leo. People are waiting for the Lawrence deal. People want Saquon to be, and I was going to bring that up too, like for the whole Saquon deal, just so we could jump to the offensive side of the ball. I'm sitting up here looking at Saquon before we get to the weapons. Before free agency started, again, we offered a guy 12-5 in the middle of the season. He turned it down. I think we offered around 13 before free agency started. Turned it down again. Got franchise tag. He's making 10 mil. And now you look at the market, and you look at the market for running backs, and the top running backs aren't
it's like
getting
$7-8 million.
No, not getting anything. And I was equating it because I was bringing up Miles Sanders, and I stopped on his name for a reason. Miles Sanders had like 1,300-yard rushing season. Like he was like a top 5, top 7 back in the league last year. He was killing, and he went to the Panthers for 4 years, $25 million. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the top backs last year that hit the market. Even like Jamal Williams had, I think it was 12 touchdown rushes last year. And he got, I think, like 21 million. I think he got 3 years, 21 or something like that. So I'm sitting here like, everybody's like, yo, Saquon, you got offered. At the time, you might have thought, like, I'm not looking to reset the market. I'm not looking to do this. I'm not looking to do that. And we've talked about it multiple times where it's like, okay, you don't want to reset the market that Christian McCaffrey has at 16 million, but you're asking for 15.5. It's like, dude, like, what's 500K for you at this point?
Mm-hmm.
But now you're being offered 12.5 to 13 mil, and you're saying no. And now you look at the top guys are getting 7 and 8. So now it's like maybe you should take the 12.5 on the table if it's still even
if it's still on the table.
That's what I'm saying. And I know it can't be now. It can't be now. Like it's like, yo, you better sign this for 10 mil.
Yeah, you better get that franchise tag money and just because again, he just pulled an Orlando Brown. You played yourself, brother.
Yeah.
But in his case, and honestly, in his defense, because like you're looking at what happened with us last year. A lot of times at the beginning of the year, because the offensive line was so shaky, Saquon was not used the way that Saquon is normally used. Like his skill set, lining up out wide. You can bubble screen Saquon. You can send him all out there in the flat. You can do all kinds of stuff in the passing game to the point where you could almost say that Saquon has the argument that Deebo Samuel has.
I was just going to say, he's probably looking at Deebo money.
That's what I'm sitting up here thinking. So I'm just like, all right, I can see it from his point of view, where it's just like, if you guys want me to be this weapon, pay me like this weapon. The problem is the fact that no running back is going to get that.
Nope.
Not anymore.
Nope. And there's no reclassifying your position, so it's not like you can just be like, well, I'm a wide back now, and it's like, no, you're not. You're
Now, I
not.
mean, unless your name is Tony Jefferson, you can just be like, yeah, I'm a linebacker.
Or you're freaking Cordero Patterson. You're like 6'2", 230, playing running back and receiver,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
that's
then going to your coach like, I think I want to play some corner next year.
or some linebacker, like just for fun or safety.
That guy is a freak. 6'2",
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm thinking some cornerback. Like, don't worry, don't sign corners. I got you, bro. Like, it's crazy. But I mean, not to keep going back to the draft and everything. And I read rumors, not even rumors. I read earlier this week the Giants took Tajay Spears out to dinner. Like they're taking Tajay Spears out. I'm like, yo, Saquon.
And that
Like-
was another thing that people aren't realizing too. It adds to my argument earlier about the tight ends. The tight ends and the running backs this year are deep and good. They make the receivers look like a joke.
Yeah, man.
So
the
like
running back
you
classes-
can go and get a guy that is probably going to be better than the bottom half of the league in like the 4th round and be paying him pennies. And you're like, all right, cool. Like you want to take this $10 million? We're going to sign 17 people, all in the 4th round. We'll fix our whole defense and the offense in the 4th round.
That's what's killing me. I'm like, dude, like this draft running backs, yeah, okay. You got B. John's gonna go first, and then you got Jameer's probably gonna go second. And then if a team like again, you look at us in the back half of the 2nd round, because Tajay Spears to me ain't gonna make it to the 3rd, and if he does, he's gonna go early in the 3rd because that dude is running back 3.
Listen,
So-
the running backs are gonna go probably like you said, late 2nd, early 3rd, and it's going to be a massive run.
And that's where you're gonna find all of them. They're gonna get one guy in the 1st, one maybe like on the back end of the 2nd round, somebody takes Tajay, and then 3rd through the rest of the draft, it's gonna be running back. It's just gonna go because, like you said, you're gonna have all these pieces that are gonna be almost, if you're not a day one starter, you're a good change of pace, complimentary back something.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be
probably
talented.
that you could say arguably will take over.
Right. And my thing that was scared that I keep talking about is the fact that, yes, I want Saquon back as much as anybody. Like, I'm wearing a Penn State hoodie right now. I have a Penn State flag. I've been a Saquon fan since I was a freshman at Penn State. Like, a Penn State guy. But at the same time, it's like,
You don't need him.
yeah, but it's like you look, again, what Vinny brought up earlier, you look at who our people came from. You look at the model. You have Joe Shane, you got Dable, both Bills guys. Look at how the Bills built their team. They they're not paying running backs. They got Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, they had Naheem Hines for a little bit. Now they got James Cook, 3rd, 4th round running backs. We're not investing $40 million into running backs. We're putting our money into the offensive line and that franchise quarterback that we believe is our franchise QB. And then we're getting receivers, we're getting tight ends, but so it's like, I get it. If you're looking at a Tajay Spears or Saquon's really going to be like, yo, I want $11 million per season. Well, cool. You play this year on the franchise tag or not, and then next year you'll be gone, and we're going to go draft Tajay Spears in the 2nd round, and we're going to build our offensive lineup. We're going to have weapons. We're going to have Daniel. We're going to have tight ends, and we'll just hand the ball off to Spears. And it'll be fine.
And it gets worse because then the next year there's probably going to be another strong class, and then we're going to draft another guy that probably can do what you do. And then in 2 years, we're going to replace all the production that you didn't give us for 2 years because you were hurt. Like,
right.
like you had a chance to get 13 million and you're like, nah, like this is an Orlando Brown fumble. Like betting on yourself does not always work. Like, I don't know what we've had a string of guys betting on themselves and it working out for them. I feel like there's going to be a string of guys now betting on themselves and it's not going to work. Like, it's just like, no.
It's just the position that you play. Like, in the depressed market, and running backs aren't being used as much. They're not as valued as they used to be.
No.
Yeah.
They're glorified slot receivers.
It used to be a running back league where it's like, yo, I need my bell cow that I can hand the ball to 20, 25 times a game. It ain't that no more. Nope. Nobody's valuing running backs like that anymore. You just have to know what, like, yo, you're this position.
Quarterbacks being the running backs that they're gonna ride. They're gonna have the quarterbacks, or they're gonna have smaller, stouter, like wide receivers that used to be running backs that just got hands. So it's like, if these guys really want the money, then it's like, listen, y'all better reclassify over the summer Be like, yeah, I'm a slot receiver now. And just use me how you want to use me. I'm a wide back.
And like honestly, I hate to say it, and I don't want to put it out there in the universe like this, but Saquon, his best bet in order to get what he wants is DJ getting hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's literally his best bet. Because at that point, then everything falls on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
and DJ been doing the work to see that he don't get hurt. So I mean,
yeah.
Yeah,
Shit,
that
man,
man
Joe, did you see his workout video?
yeah,
Of course.
I seen
Of
it.
course.
I seen it.
That man has not stopped working out since the season ended. Like,
Yo,
he's just getting bigger every day, faster, stronger, making crazy ass throws. He's working. That
mhm.
man got his check, and he's like, "I bet it's on me. I got you." Like,
let's go.
yeah,
Doing his weird ass kettlebell exercises that he been doing.
Listen,
I
bro,
don't care what that
that
man
just
do.
inspired me to go buy one.
Yeah.
Use it this way. Apparently, kettlebells is how you get right now. So I went and got me one. Like, listen, bro, I'm about to get right.
I'm about to say, whatever that man got to do to make himself better. If he get better, I don't care what exercise you're doing.
You man be out here doing the freaking Dax Sosa for all I care. It worked.
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
That man can go out to the fields of Iowa and cut corn and bale hay for all I care. If that man comes back at September balling, great. Do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do, brother.
Do what you got to do to get stronger and lead this franchise. You got that $160 million. You do what you got to do.
Uh-huh.
How about this deal? How about Matt Gay, the kicker for the Rams? How about that money? How about that? 4 years, $2 million for the kicker.
But again, you've realized there are like certain positions where it's like I understand why the Jets are trying to trade Brady Man now, because there was 2 or 3 games there where if we have a competent kicker, then we're in way better field position and we possibly win those games. Like between Zach Wilson losing, and the only 2 games I really blame Zach Wilson for are the 2 Patriots games. If I'm being completely honest with you, the rest of it is whatever. But you also look at a bunch of other games where we definitely could have won, like the Vikings game, for example, that we could have won if we had better field position. That's on Brady Man. So you look at, and then you see how many games are won and lost within a possession, like not even 6 points. You got teams that are winning and losing by 3 points, 2 points, 8 points because of the kicker. Like the kicker is way more valuable now because the skill positions are so good, the defenses are so good that they're canceling each other out. So what's the difference? Field positions, special teams, and kickers. So yeah, if they got to break off $5 million for a kicker to know that, like, bro, if I'm in a close game and I need to kick because my team is straight up booty meat or everybody's burnt, cool. Put my $5 million kicker out there, bro. Go earn your check.
Go trot my kicker out there. $22 million I invested in you. You're turning into a weapon at this point.
Greg the Leg redefines himself as Greg the Leg last year because we needed him to kick so damn much. Your man was he was boofing.
I think it's more so the fact that it's shocking that it's just like it is who it is. Because of the fact that when you think of a contract like that, the first name that will pop out of my head, and the only name that will pop out of my head, is Justin Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But like anybody else, it's just like seriously, like even with us, like Joe, you know how important Graham Gano is to us.
Oh,
but if you was to sit up here and tell me that Joe Shane gave this dude $22 million, I was like, what's wrong with him?
We're doing crack.
No, I get Justin Tucker though. Justin Tucker is a weapon. The moment you touch the 50-yard line, they're in range. It's like, bro, like you're at the 50-yard line. So like it's still like a 67-yard, and he's just like, and okay, like that's why I hate playing the Ravens. It's like, we gotta hold these guys to like their 30-yard line for me to be okay.
And even then,
you still kind of sweating a little bit.
You see a punter coming out from the field, and you got to do a double check. Like, wait a minute, is that talking?
Like he goes up, he kicks it, and you're just sitting up there like.
I'm telling you, every other team. What was that game, Vidge? We were watching. It was us versus the Ravens that one year when like I think it was like 2 seconds left to go in the game, and they kicked like a 65-yarder on us to win. I was like, you gotta be shitting me. Like, come on, man. Like any other team in the league, I'm sitting here like, oh, they're at the 50-yard line with 1 second left. This one's over. Like, up here, Justin Tucker just comes trying out, and I'm just like, God damn it!
Like, yo, can somebody hit this man? Like, God,
Like,
Jesus.
can you fumble the snap or something?
Like, give us something.
And that man just booms it, walks off the field. I'm like, yo, it's a 66-yard field goal I just lost on. Are you
And the
kidding me?
crazy part is,
This
whole
dude is literally
fight-
Steph.
it's like regular like high fives. He's just walking out like, yeah.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
job, guys.
like, yeah. It's
La,
not
la,
like
la,
a,
la.
it's not like the Ravens go running on the field, picking him up. He's like, I do this every week. Like, and the
Yeah,
Ravens are
guys,
like,
act like we've been here because we have.
exactly. The Ravens like he kicks like 73 yarders in practice, so it's no big deal. Like, oh my god, like
Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like
I can get it. I can get it with Justin Tucker because the dude's legit a weapon. It's like I get to the 50-yard line. It's not automatic, but it's damn near me automatic in 3 points if I get to the 50-yard line. So I get it with him, but like you're dropping 22 million on Matt Gay. I'm like, you're not even the best kicker in the game. Like that's to me, it's like, bro, 22 million. Like you got more than running backs. Like you got more than Jamal Williams. Like, are you that serious? Are you serious? Like
the
that's
boy
what
got
kills
his
me.
bag.
The other thing that gets me about them is the fact that it always like tweaks me a bit when it comes to dome kickers, where it's just like, all right, I understand like you're inside your stadium for 8 to 9 games a year, depending on which year it is or whatever. And granted, maybe you guys play the Falcons this year, maybe you guys play the Vikings or something, where you're going to another dome, but when it's 4th and 9, there's 3 seconds left on the game, and you guys are on the 47-yard line or whatever in San Francisco and it's raining.
Yeah.
Like,
Or in Seattle.
yeah. Which is even worse. Like,
Yeah, very true.
just ask Jay Feely.
Ugh, let's not. Let's just not. What gets me, like, I'm interested in this Heineke deal in Atlanta. Like, I want to see how like what happens there. Like, is Atlanta really all bought in on Ritter, or are they gonna let him? Is Ritter gonna like die and then they bring Heineke in and he gives Atlanta some type of decent season, then they go draft a quarterback next year or something like? That's what I'm more. That's why I was one thing I want to see. Another one I stopped on too was Patrick Peterson going to the Steelers. That one surprised the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one coming at all. Like at this
Like,
stage of
Brad,
his career,
he's not the same guy that he was before, but that's still a big pickup.
it's a good pickup, and he's definitely going to help him be a leader on and off the field. I get that, but like I thought at this stage of his career, and this isn't a knock on the Steelers or anything, I just thought he was going to go to a strict like a contender team and just try to get his ring and then go out like.
That's what he said. That's literally what he said.
That's what I figured. That's what he said. I remember. I thought that's what he said. Like, I want to go to a contender. And it's like,
And
then you
then
went to
we
the
see the
Steelers.
Steelers, like, I mean, sure, you can. The Steelers are like the Patriots. Like, you can never really count them out.
No,
But like, I wouldn't call them a contender.
yeah, they're
this
not.
year.
They're not the Steelers of 10 years ago with Ben and Hines Ward and everybody.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing with me. I'm like,
That's
you
a
saw
weird
they had to go on a magical run just to make the playoffs this past
Yeah.
season.
Yeah,
They started off 2-6. It's like
that,
you're just,
it's a strange one for sure. I don't understand.
yeah, that one really was like a big eye opener. Benji, how you feel about the Darius Slayton re-signing? I'm gonna jump down to people that are still available before we get out of here. Like, there's so many people we can go through. Darius Slayton, like I said, Dalton to Carolina, which is going to be interesting because we'll bring that up in a second. But what do you think about the Darius Slayton re-signing before we go move on?
Honestly, I have to withhold judgment on that until I see what we do in the draft and what happens potentially with Odell. Like, granted, we're off the list, but then again, so is Dallas with the move that they just made for Brandon Cooks. So nobody knows what's going on with him.
Yeah, no, not a clue.
I want to say I want to say this is a reward for Darius Slayton because he sat up here and he took the pay cut to stay with the team last year, and then just through like the circumstances of everything that went down last year, with Kenny Golladay not performing, with Sterling Shepard getting injured, with Wan'Dale Robinson getting injured, he ended up just being the number one receiver again, and you know it's not his level, but he performed to the best of his ability. Right? Everybody knows about the drop issue with him. Right? It improved last year, but improving from like 25% of the time to 16% of the time isn't that much, especially considering the fact that they happen at the worst possible times.
Yeah, not impressed at all.
I.e., the Vikings game in the playoffs that could have ended very badly for us. But, I mean, I don't really know how to approach this one. You picked up a guy like Paris Campbell, who has a very similar skill set to him, granted with a way better 40 time, although that was, again, back at the Combine 4 years ago. But like I said, I don't know where to actually go with that, just because of the fact that there's still so much uncertainty about what we're going to do upcoming in the draft. I don't think we're going to go through this entire draft looking at our wide receiver class and be like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, no, I agree. Jay, what do you think about, like, I'm seeing just like up here, any of these Jets guys that you wanted to have back, like Sheldon Rankins left, James Robinson, Nate Herbig, Mike White. Like, there's a lot of people that kind of like almost like a mass exodus away from one Jet Drive. And like, is there anybody like worth it that you would want it back? Like, would you have wanted Sheldon Rankins back?
That's it.
Nobody else.
No, not even a little bit. Like, that's why I don't even remember who left, because I'm like, okay.
He does not care. He just wants A-Rod in New York. He doesn't care about
At this point, give me A-Rod, give me Quentin, and like, give me Quan. Like, here's the thing. Here's who I want. I'll put it this way. I want the A-Rod deal done, right? I want the Quentin deal done. In terms of signing people, if we can go and get Calais Campbell, I'll be over the moon.
That's the name that I'm looking for us too, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
I think the money's going to be real, though.
If we can somehow re-sign Quan, that's it for me. The bonus, the cherry on top of the sundae, is the only two teams that I'm hearing are still in on Odell are us and the Chiefs.
I've been hearing Chiefs and Bills.
Well, I mean, the Bills, I feel like, are always in it. But if there's like, there's the Bills and the Chiefs who are like the upper echelon, and then the Jets pending A-Rod type situation.
I just want to see what Odell gets, because obviously there was the whole rumor if he wanted 15 to 20 mil a season, and then he came out and said, I never asked for 15 to 20 million dollars, but he said somebody offered him 4 mil a season, and he was like, I'm not taking 4. That's disrespectful. So I want to know what he's going to land at.
I mean, I think given the fact that the last time we saw him on the field, he was absolutely destroying people.
That Super Bowl, he was killing.
He was killing people, and leading up to that, he was on a nice run.
He was well on his way to Super Bowl MVP in that game.
So it's a situation where, like,
on that game.
I'm not saying 10, but I do think he's right saying 4 is too little. I'm somewhere in the ballpark of like 7.5 to 9.5.
I'm thinking 7 to 11 is going to get what he's going to get.
I'm actually going to go out on a limb and say he gets 12.
I mean,
I was thinking that. Yeah. I was thinking 7 to 12, but I just felt it's too big of a gap.
I just think it's really a matter of like who has the funds to, like, once the smoke clears, like what salary cap, like what's the salary cap situation look like? Like how much money moved? And I think that's really the biggest what if. But in terms of like Jets people that we just let go, like we let go. Everybody thought of that. Why would we bring back James Robinson? Doesn't make sense. Why would we bring back who else was there?
Nate Herbig.
Nate Herbig. Nate Herbig was a guy that I'm like, I can understand why he would want to leave because he wants to start. And he's not going to start with any one of our guards. He's just not. And the plan is to move AVT back to guard. As much as people were like, he's a tackle. No, he's not.
Yeah, no, I always saw him as a guard. I feel like he could be all pro. He could be all pro guard for you guys.
Yeah, he probably would have been an all pro guard and tackle this year, if I'm being honest with you.
True.
And then you got like Nathan Shepard, who most of Jets Nation has been trying to get rid of since the day he was drafted, since the day he was brought in. I feel like it was like you heard the song "Brand New Day" from The Wiz come on when he signed somewhere else because everybody was so
my god.
Sheldon Rankins was like the one guy where it's like at the right price we'd love to have him back, but the price that he got was not the right price for us, and we figured that he played well enough to get what he got, and like more power to him, bro. Like I hope he goes somewhere else and kills because he was fantastic for us, and we got mad love for him over here for that.
I thought he did well for you guys too. I really did.
He's got mad love. He's got mad love over here, but it was one of those situations where like what the guys that what we're trying to do, we couldn't afford to go after an undersized defensive tackle. We just can't afford it. Especially because we got beat up on the run a lot last year. So like we can't really go for another undersized guard, like unless it was for depth purposes, you know.
I mean, this is only week 1, and like I'm looking at week 2. Like week 2 literally starts, I guess, depending on how you count it today, tomorrow, you could say. But there's still names to be had up here. I mean, I'm interested to see where a lot of them go. Like,
well,
I want to
Byron
see,
Jones,
like,
you know, he's going to retire based on just the way he's going to retire. Byron Jones.
Oh yeah. I was at first I was like, why? And then I was like, okay, he's gonna retire. I figured that. Like
He's cool.
He's done. Like you said, before we started, Adam Thielen he signed to the Panthers with a 3-year deal. It was an interesting one. I want to still try to find the money on that deal. I haven't seen anything yet.
I don't think anyone's dropped the money yet.
3 years for a 32-year-old receiver. I want to see what the Vikings do now. I want to see what the Vikings do now because I mean they have Justin Jefferson, they have KJ Osborne, so I want to see what they do at receiver. I want to see if they add somebody else in that mix. And I think they lost. I think Irv Smith is a free agent too, and that's a big loss for them.
He is.
And
he is because I saw his name coming up linked to the Giants for a minute.
Yeah, I did too. But I mean, again, we got Waller, so I'm pretty sure we're set.
Yeah, this was before the Waller thing.
Yeah. Then like Bud Dupree's up there. I want to see what happens with Matt Ryan too. Like Matt Ryan is another guy. Like, can't have a big market. Like you just can't.
What I'm hearing is that the Colts may look to bring him back for one more year.
Oh my god.
Well, they say that because again, there is you have to look at it. Look at where they are in terms of who they can draft, right?
Yeah, no,
there's a very good chance.
No.
Shit.
There goes Jay. Talking about the Colts. Shouldn't have been talking about the Colts, man. See,
somebody took him out.
That's it. It's over. I don't know. I'm just thinking he did say if he cuts out, then just keep going.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He's probably died. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. At this point, I'm trying to figure out the market for Matt Ryan. Like, I could have seen him going somewhere like the Bucs before they got Baker Mayfield. At least you get that 1 year with him, and maybe he can kind of mentor Kyle Trask a little bit. I don't know. I feel like his market is like really limited. Then you look at other people like a Bud Dupree, a Taylor Lewan, even a Frank Clark. Like where are all these people going to end up? That's where I'm interested.
I haven't the slightest idea, but I know that the frenzy that's going to happen if all of these names aren't picked up after before the draft. Once the draft ends and you're starting to see people fill out rosters, you're going to start to see names just being flung all over the place.
Yeah, that's going to happen too. I can't even front. Oh, he's back. There he is.
Bro, I don't know what just happened. It just fell off the face of the planet. Anyway, like I was saying, there's nothing really left on the market. So like getting Matt Ryan just kind of makes sense for like just for where they are right now. Matt Ryan is
Nah, I understand, but I don't know. Like, I guess you get him. I was saying to Benji, like, I see maybe a team, maybe even like I thought you could maybe like even the Bucks grab him for a year, and at least he could kind of mentor Kyle Trask. But now, I mean, obviously with Baker being there, that's over.
Mhm.
But like I was saying, like you got Leonard Floyd's up here and Zeke Elliott, yeah, Ezekiel Elliott's up here. Another one, really interested to see where he goes. Like, and I know we've been talking about what the Bills potentially. I just want to see where that's another person. I'm just like, where is Zeke's market going to take him?
Well, until they fill a spot, every running back that's available is going to get linked to Buffalo.
yeah.
Which is crazy because I think Devin Singletary is a free agent. Now that I think about it, Zach Moss might be too.
Yeah, I think they're empty back there.
I think the only person they have is James Cook. Now that I think about it.
See, here's my I'm more concerned with like you look at a guy like Taylor Lewan, right? An older left tackle where I think he doesn't get signed until like after the draft, just because the draft is really give or take maybe 6 or 7 guys from a left tackle standpoint deep. So like if you miss out on that guy, what do? You look at Yannick Ngakoue, like he is a pass rush specialist, but in a draft with so many pass rush specialists that you can get for significantly cheaper, he's gonna have to wait till after. You know, you get a guy, you look like a Dalton Schultz, unless he gets signed within like the next week or so. I don't see him getting signed until after the draft because there are like 4 different Dalton Schultz in this draft.
Yep.
They're going to get for significantly cheaper.
Oh yeah.
So,
Dalton is another one. Like just to piggyback on what you said, like, I'm not going to pay you top tight end money when I can go and get a Dalton Kincaid, a Luke Musgrove, a Michael Mayer, a Payne Durham, or even a Britton Strange, a Jack Kuntz. Like, there's like
dudes that you're going to get in like the 4th or 5th round, and you're going to be paying them for the next 4
There's
years.
like 12, 13 tight ends coming out, bro. There's like 13 tight ends coming out that I can pay for this. Like, I can go sign this guy in the 4th round, and he'll be just as productive, if not more productive, than you will be. For $15 million on my team.
Which is why, like, I'm looking at like if you look at all the DNs that are still available, and you look at all the corners that are still available, like look at the positions that are actually available, and then think about what we saw during the combine. That's why I'm looking at. I'm like, this kind of makes sense. Like, there are a lot of guys that like kind of make sense that they're not signed. Like,
yeah, and it's funny. I was reading on just more Giant stuff, and everything. Because the main thing that I've been wanting defensive tackles because I want to be able to stop the run because we were bad at last year. I want another linebacker next to Bobby O because one, our linebacking play was awful. Our depth was terrible. I mean, you brought in Jared Davis. You had Jalen Smith. Beavers went out with an ACL tear. Michael McFadden wasn't good. Like, pretty much all of our options that we really turned to did not pan out. So Bobby O was great, but I need something else other than Bobby O. So, like, yeah, I'm not putting that all on him. And I know, like, Wink went to Trenton Simpson's pro day personally, so that kind of says something to me. But like, and I want vet edge rushers, and I want like a corner or two. I want somebody like a veteran edge rusher that can get after the quarterback because again, edge depth was awful. Like, Aziz always hurt. Ellerson Smith can't get on the field. O'Shane Jimenez sucks. Jahal Ward is a contained guy. He's not a big pass rush specialist, which really just left you with Kayvon Thibodeau, and he was getting killed every game. So it's like I need somebody else that can put pressure on the quarterback. So I'm not just relying on my rookie edge rusher to beat double teams and get to the QB every play. So, and like I said, the other thing I did read was just that like we've been poking around for corner, but every corner is asking like too much money right now.
Yeah, and it's one of those situations where I'm like, you guys.
But check back to what you said. It's
you
like
guys are in a really great position to be like, if you want to move up and get a guy, like I think you guys are too far out for the top, say 2 or 3 guys. Like you guys aren't in the Christian Gonzalez, Joey Porter range, but the Deonte Banks thing is real.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I know.
The Devon Witherspoon thing, like Devon Witherspoon can go anywhere from top 10 to bottom of the draft. Like we don't know where he's gonna go. The
Right.
corners are deep this year, so like you can go and you can package a couple of those picks to move up and get a guy you want. And
I think it's so deep that I don't even think you. And I think there's gonna be so many other positions that go that I don't think we even have to move up because I think we're gonna have 4 to 5 guys that we like, and I think one of them at least drop to us.
Yeah. So
And
it's
again,
one of those situations where it's like it makes sense why a lot of these guys are like the only guy that doesn't make sense here to me is DJ Chalk, but DJ Chalk to me sounds like I know his name more than I know about his production and what he brings to a team. So that's probably what it is.
it's from what I've been reading, it's like it's still like and I think a lot of people, I know, again, I'm speaking from Giants Twitter and everything. A lot of people have been asking the whole debate between Chark and McCole Hardman, and a lot of it keeps going back to it's one and the same person, and it's still a high drop rate. So it's like, you didn't want Slayton, but you're looking at the other 2 guys who are just as much as a player as Slayton is. So it's
the other thing is you got to look at Hardman, and you got to be like, all right, how much is Hardman's production going to drop off because he doesn't have Mahomes throwing to him anymore?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, it goes back to whether it's receiver or it goes back to corner. It's like, all right, these corners, I understand you're a solid player, but you're asking for $7, $8, $9 million, and you're really not truly worth it. And I can go into the draft and I can get a corner that's just as good as you, if not better, younger, not much of as an injury history potentially, and I'm going to save myself $9 million. So why would I give you $9 million? So I was saying I've been hearing. I heard earlier in the week that the corner. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think it's like Tavier Thomas. He's like a corner from the Texans who's like quietly. I heard one of the best slot nickel corners in the league. The Giants were linked to him, but I haven't heard anything since. People were talking about the Giants potentially going to get like Trey Herndon or the Jags corners. Trey Herndon or Shaquille Griffin are both free agents. And the Giants were talking about them, but I'm like, the more I look at it, the more I think it's going to come down to corner, receiver, linebacker, or potentially even like we might shock everybody, quote unquote, and take a censor. Like that's
and if JMS is there, look.
I know that's what everybody's saying. So everybody's saying if JMS is there, it could potentially happen. And it's just fitting that we have not brought a censor in.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you.
Adam Thielen's contract, 3 years, $25 million, $14 million guaranteed, and $10 million in the first year.
That's a little over $8 million a year.
It's a 2-year deal, basically.
Pretty much.
Makes
pretty
sense.
much.
But then, like, look at it. Like again, Devin McCourty retired. Cool. What I'm interested in is the inside linebacker market. Like that market is so interesting because the linebackers proved to be deeper than we suspected, just based on like the combine and what we're hearing from like the pro days and stuff. The linebacker group is a lot deeper, so I think that's why there's such a halt on signing linebackers right now.
I want to see where Bobby Wagner goes.
I want to see where Bobby goes. I want to see where Miles Jack goes.
Yeah, because that's a young dude that was balling on the Jags, but kind of fell out with the Steelers. Didn't
like
work.
You brought him up earlier. I want to see where Frank Clark goes.
Yeah, Frank Clark too. Like that's another one where I'm like, bro, what? But again,
where he goes and how much he gets.
Yeah,
that dude's like a playoff specialist.
Yeah, but also. Just saying, the last time Miles Jack was good was under Rob Saleh. So, just putting it out there. And
shameless plug.
Come on with it, brother. Come on up. I mean, I understand most of your check gonna get taxed, but come on up. we'll
There's so many corners, bro. Like Ronald Darby's still up here.
like this is what I'm telling you. Most of these guys are not going to get signed until after the draft. Like you're probably going to see a bunch of those guys get signed after the draft.
Shoot, what happens with freaking Leonard Fournette? Where does he go?
To the retirement home. Honestly, I think he just fades. I think
Jones. Oh man,
Julio Jones ain't getting picked up probably to like mid-season.
I mean, at this point,
you know what? Somebody who is like honestly one of the teams or whatever that we root for, whoever it is that is like either hanging on our tail or just above us, is going to pick up Julio Jones in the middle of the season just to piss us off.
I can see like the Commanders grabbing Julio Jones like out of nowhere.
They better not.
See, that one. Oh my gosh! All right, we've been at this almost 2 hours. Jesus, knew it was gonna happen. It's all right. We got before we get out of here because it's Sunday night. We got work meets coming up. Before we get out of here, what are you guys looking forward? I'll go with you, Jay, first. What are you looking forward to this next week coming up? Week 2 of free agency. What do you expect to see? Do you want this deal done? Are you waiting for a Clemens deal? And what else?
I want this deal done. I'm waiting for a Clemens deal. And hopefully we sign Ben Jones.
Oh, Ben Jones.
That'd be a good look.
He's played with the coaching staff. The system seems to be very run-centric, run-heavy. And he's an upgrade at center. He's a bigger body. And
I was
again,
looking at him too.
We got the Tomlinson lost some weight, got stronger, got more agile. You got ABT coming back off injury. You got Becton, and then you got Derek Brown, and then you still have Max Mitchell whenever he's fully healthy. So I'm looking at it from the standpoint you go and get Ben Jones. Yeah, you go and get Ben Jones and maybe draft another guy like the kid out of Cincinnati. I think. No, the center out of Ohio State.
Oh, Whitworth. Whitworth.
He's I think he's either a Jersey kid or a Long Island kid that was a huge Jets fan growing up. You go and sign him, we're rocking. Like we got the depth we want, we're rocking. We're ready to go. That to me, it's like you bring in Ben Jones, you bring in that kid. We have the depth at guard. Maybe we go and use 13 for a tackle. Now we have tackle depth. We're ready to go. Like, we're just waiting for Aaron. Like, listen, bro, we got you. We got a bunch of massive humans. We're ready to go.
Hey, you fixed the offensive line. You got the running backs. You got the receivers and the tight end. So, offensively, it just seems like the one thing you need is just to fix the O-line.
Yeah. So, like, you get Ben Jones and you take a center in the 3rd or 4th round and you use 13. If we keep – and, again, that's saying that we don't trade any one of those picks, right?
Right.
Then again, like Jody is the king of either packaging picks to move back or packaging picks to move up. So like as long as we get those guys, I'm fine. The offensive line is fixed. We get Aaron here. Aaron gets comfortable with those guys. He has his guys. He gets comfortable with those guys. And then the only thing I'd really need to worry about is like what price can we get Calais Campbell for? Biggest thing, what price can we get Calais Campbell for? And do we have enough left in the salary cap to bring back Quan? Because outside of that, then like we've added Chuck Clark, who isn't big on interceptions, but because he's so physical, it could definitely help our corners out a lot, and he can cover guys, which is huge. And then you can use Jordan Whitehead in more of a roam type situation. So like you have that chess piece of the safeties. You have your corners. We're set at corner. I don't even want to hear about corner. Maybe we draft another one so that we can get rid of Bryce Hall. That's about it. You know, we have the deep rotation on the like. I really don't think we should take a defensive lineman, but at the end of the day, too, you should probably always just take a defensive lineman just in case.
Never have enough pass rushers. So
yeah. So
maybe take
anytime
you take a D lineman, I don't argue the logic. I really don't.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we get another pass rusher, just add to the stable. You know, Jermaine Johnson gets a year better. Hopefully becomes more of a featured pass rusher. Carl Lawson finally has a full year of recovery, and Carl Lawson can just be Carl Lawson. You know, at D tackle, hopefully we bring in Calais, and then we still have JFM. who's a hybrid at that point, like then we're really ready to go. Then we can really like start talking about a conversation of like, yo, can we really fuck around and do this? Like this year, can we fuck around and do this? And heaven forbid, like again, as much as people talk about Zach Wilson beat Buffalo last year. Fuck, you see what I'm saying? Like we beat Buffalo with Zach Wilson last year. We beat Miami with Zach Wilson last year.
Yeah, I mean, shit. If he's beating them, what's A-Rod gonna do for y'all?
Yeah, like we really gotta have a real conversation. We have Cincinnati's number. Like we're 1-1 with Cincinnati, so like we're not scared to go into Cincinnati either. Like what team really scares you?
All right.
That's where I'm at with it. Like the one team that I think we just haven't played and haven't beaten was probably Kansas City. And I don't remember, don't quote me, but I don't think we got blown out by them. No, we did get blown out by them because we were tanking that year. So, you know, I think last time we played them, we had Sam Darnold and we were just tanking for 2 at that point. So it is what it is. So now we get a fresh group with more talent, more swagger going into. I think Kansas City has to come to us. Don't quote me on that though. I think Kansas City comes into MetLife this year, so it's like, you know, we're ready when them boys come to town. So like, what's up? That's what I'm saying. Like, there's not a lot of moves left to be made. Like, because if we can make those moves and we can get those guys, and Lord, don't you don't even want to hear me if we can fuck around and squeeze out somehow, maneuver and finesse the league and get Odell Beckham. I'm going to be intolerable. Absolutely intolerable.
Oh my God! All right, Bidgie, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the Giants? I mean, what are your thoughts on next week? What do you want to see going forward and everything before we get out of here?
To be honest, I don't think we're going to be making any crazy big moves. Like I said, maybe the Robinson pickup, but other than that, I think we're going to be focusing in-house on like these extensions or these restructurings that need to be handled. That way, you know, we go into the draft with the space that we need to take care of the 482,000 draft picks we have. And then whatever undrafted free agents we're going to be picking up afterwards. Plus, like I said, the actual frenzy when it comes to the vet free agents that's going to take place after that.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. Like I said, I see us focusing more in-house than anything else.
Okay. Me personally, I'm just like you guys pretty much covered our teams. Again, like I said before, from the Giants standpoint, just if I'm looking at it from the Giants standpoint, I want again, Ashawn will be great to bring in. He's coming off of I think it's a meniscus tear, I believe it right or was. It's a meniscus or ACL tear, one of the two. But he's coming off of season the injury. But if you can put him in on a rotational basis, I think that would help out a lot. I would like to have a vet edge rusher like. If we could get someone like he's up here to like a Justin Houston for the low, somebody that can come in and be a leader and actually get after the quarterback and get pressure consistently, that'd be great. Somebody next to Bobby O and maybe a corner. But other than that, I agree. Looking at as far as extending Cat, extending Lawrence, working on this deal with Saquon, whatever it may be. What?
Scheffner just dropped former Eagles safety Chauncey Gardner-Johnson reached an agreement tonight with the Detroit Lions.
Sheesh. CJ to the Giants? Oh, no, the Giants. The Lions?
I'm like,
sorry, I'm still thinking. I was thinking in my mind so what I was going to say next. Wow, to the Lions. Whew, okay. Yeah. Well, guys, you heard it here first from breaking news.
2 minutes ago, dropped from Shefty.
We broke the Thielen news, and now we broke the CJ news. Jeez, Lord, to the Lions. Wow, that changes a lot. It's interesting.
Very.
Wow. Well, if I can be an asshole real quick and be a Giants fan, I'm glad he's away from the Eagles.
Yep.
I can be an asshole real quick. I'm happy. Out of the division. Cool. But being a non-biased person, that's interesting. I want to see the money he gets. Like, that's what I'm really sick of. That dude was like the top free agent left. He was going crazy. He had a great year with the Eagles, so
I got that too.
What you got?
1 year, $8 million.
Really?
Yep.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay.
1
Yep.
year, 8 million to the Lions.
Yep.
CJ Gardner Johnson.
With
Huh.
6.5 guaranteed.
Yo,
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's all I can.
Yeah, that was a way
Wow.
to end the show.
Wow.
I was really getting ready to say, like, just from a football standpoint, I want to see where some of these top remaining guys go. That's really what I was getting ready to say too. Like, I want to see what happens with CJ News. We said Bobby Wagner, like these people up here, Bud Dupree. I want to see about Marcus Peters, and I kind of want Marcus Peters to come to the Giants because of the whole Wink Martindale thing, but
Mhm.
I doubt it. It's the connection. I want him to come over and play for Wink, and that'd be great. Him and Adore would be amazing.
Oh,
But that guy, I love that. But yeah, wow, what a way to end the show.
The Schefter put out that CJ has a relationship with Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn because they worked with him in New Orleans. So that may have been what had been the turning point for him.
okay.
Wow. All right.
Yep.
Well, you guys heard it here first. That is 1 year. Man, like that almost makes you think it's like, couldn't we have did that? Like it almost makes you think like, yo, 1 year, 8 million? That's all? Dang. The Lions, that's interesting. That's really interesting.
Well, they needed help there, so
They needed to get tougher in their secondary, and they definitely have.
Wow. What a pickup for the Lions. Yo, I'm really like, and we were just talking about that division, man. We were just talking about that division being open.
yep.
Yes.
That makes it
And
it
just
makes it so much
and
more
just to
interesting.
add to it, the Lions own 6, 18, 48, and 55 in the draft.
Woo!
Yeah.
Dude,
Yo,
4 picks in the top 60.
Mhm. And as a Jets fan, we saw what happens when you get 4 picks that high. They can be game changers for
Mhm.
sure. They
Yo,
can
the
they can
Lions.
definitely shift your franchise. Like the Lions are coming for blood.
If the
There's
Lions hit,
there
oh
are
my
there is
god,
blood in the water, ladies and gentlemen. There is blood in the water. And
yo,
this is
that's
still with
even
Jared
more.
Goff, mind you.
Yeah, this NFC North is gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Oh my god, CJ to the Lions. Wow, I literally thought I was gonna be pissed off. 'Cause I thought he was gonna go back to the Eagles. I'm not gonna hold you. I thought he was gonna be like, bet Slade's back, Brad's back, run it back, so go back to the Eagles. Because everything I had seen was the Eagles and like the Bengals were like the only two teams I was really seeing from him. So to just like go to the Lions, that just
Out of nowhere.
yeah, like I didn't hear anything linking him to the Lions. That's a game changer for sure. Wow. Oh man. Yeah, for you guys that don't know, again, CJ Gardner Johnson signs a 1 year, $8 million deal to the Detroit Lions. Just happened a couple minutes ago. Um, wow, what a way to end off the first week of free agency.
Yeah.
Well, we got nothing else. What else
Yep.
we got? Got something else?
Just
Right now.
I don't know if y'all can see that at all, but rest in peace to the MetLife turf. They are taking it up right now.
Thank God.
Yo, I heard about that. That was like the best move of the offseason for us.
Yo, for real.
Aren't they just replacing
And
it with more
Giants.
turf?
What happened?
Aren't they just replacing it with more turf?
Well, they're replacing it. If I remember correctly, like it's us and a couple other teams in the league that got the turf banned. And I believe what we're putting down is the same field that Dallas has.
Okay.
It's something
So-
like a soccer field or something like that. Soccer
They
turf, like that.
they called it artificial grass. Like I'm pretty sure that's what turf was in the first place, but but apparently there is a distinction between the two of them. So
That all right. Well, week one
Yep.
of free agency in the books. thanks for some breaking news to end off week one. That was amazing.
Yep.
Well, shoot. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, like, comment, subscribe,
Yep.
share the podcast. Man, breaking news. We're good, I guess.
That's what happens when you're on for 2 hours. Something's bound to happen.
Yo, I'm
I'm
saying.
saying.
I'm saying, shoot. Week one of free agency in the books. Shoot, check us out. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that. Again, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button so you know when we're going live. All shares and all likes help us help the YouTube channel grow, guys. But until next time, hopefully a week 2 free agency recap. Wait and look out for our mock draft 2.0. We'll try to drop sometime next week as well. But this has been the Nosebleed section. Enjoy the rest of your night. Have a great Sunday, and we'll see you next time.